Hey, everyone, and welcome to Which One Do I Roll, a show on Fridays where we try out different RPGs and figure out how they work and learn to play them better and try to understand what it is that they do well and get all excited and gung ho about the coolness that is alternate RPG systems. With me, as always, is my awesome and fantastic cast. They're pretty cool, and they're awesome. Yeah, you should check them out and follow them on whatever stuff people follow people on and all that good stuff. Um, but today we're going to be playing Beneath a Cursed Moon, which is a game by Carius. You can find them on Twitter at Dragon Trial 12. This is a gothic inspired game with vampires, warlocks, witches, all that kind of good gothic-y goodness. And yeah, I'm excited because I get to play. I don't normally get to play. As those of you who watch this channel know, I don't normally get to play that much. I am more often running games, and I love running games, and I think that's great. But it's good to be able to be a player too, and I get to play in my friend Marcus's game, which is even more cool. So, that's all exciting to me. And with that, I'm just gonna let Marcus take it away. Go for it.
Actually, I'm going to throw it back to you all just for a sec to do reintroductions of your characters. Not like the whole, like, how we opened up, but just who they are and their deal. Um, Starting with Lady Anne, if that's okay.
Sure. Hi. You haven't heard from me yet today, so we might as well go back to it. Hi, I'm Matthew, and I'm playing Lady Anne. Lady Anne is a warlock who is an older woman, very severe looking and stiff. Got a little bit of a past on her and all that stuff, but recently has sacrificed the headmaster of a monster hunter school in exchange for a fair bit of power, with his permission, so that she can solve the current crisis. And in return for that, has agreed to take control of the school, although has not told anyone this yet. Um,
But M saw.
yeah, that's and
M
so
knows.
I sacrifice people and use that sacrifice to enact powerful sorceries and rip people's souls from their bodies and figure out what they're guilty of. That's me.
Go
I forgot.
Strider.
I forgot nobody else knew that about you being headmaster now.
Yep.
Moss,
Only
Mia as Moss.
I am Mia, and I play Moss, who is a dreamer, which means that she has a connection to these otherworldly beings and is kind of just trying to figure out why that connection exists. Mysterious deal here.
To that end, you looked for a book when we were in the library before we got to the portal room. Do you remember what that was?
Um, I was looking for a book of information, but it was already checked out.
Of information surrounding like astral beings. Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I myself didn't remember that. But I gave you a name, I think. No, yeah, I did. Yeah,
Yes, and it was a name.
yeah.
It was a brilliant name.
A namely name.
It was named after an anime character, I'm pretty sure, or like a, yeah, anime movie. Ash as M.
Hi, I'm playing M. She is a werewolf. She kills things really well. That's pretty much all she's done is kill things and then sneak on our friends.
That's right. You saw Lady Anne
That's it.
sacrifice
Yep.
the headmaster, but you didn't hear
Yep.
the conversation, right? Is that true?
No, I think we elected because of my wolf hearing, and I did roll a pretty high perception that I did hear
You
it.
did hear it. Okay. Yeah, and
Which
then
is why
otherwise you would
M
have.
didn't go.
Right. Okay. um, cool. Yeah. So last time we left off, you all had just solved the puzzle, but really the spell components and ritual involved in getting a teleportation circle to work. Um, Upon finishing, your handlers, Greta and Garrett, yeah, those are names, let you know that one of them would have to stay behind to steer, so to speak. So they would be hooked up to the device that is attached to the teleportation circle. They would be given an IV, pretty much, of some unknown fluid that would then incorporate their blood and the fluid in the bag into the teleportation circle, thus giving it a location to teleport you all to. Um, the two siblings, Greta and Garrett, are currently arguing over who should go. Neither wants the other to go. They are pulling the sibling thing of I was born. I think they're twins. I forget if I said that, but they're pulling the sibling thing of I was born 2 minutes earlier, that sort of thing. Does anybody have a preference, or does anybody wish to intervene in this argument?
If no one else does, M will just stand up, do an eeny, meeny, miny, mo, grab one and throw them.
Okay. Do you care? Can I choose?
If somebody else doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah,
Like
we
me.
know we've worked with them a little bit. We don't know them super well in my own memory.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we know about them. Is there some sort of thing that this choice would be impacted? Is there a way of determining which one would be beneficial in which ways? Or should I could just ask them.
Or are they
Nothing.
very similar?
Yeah, I think they are very similar, and your relationship, all of you, your relationships with them have been working relationships. Like you haven't gotten to know each other super well. Um, so I don't think there's anything hard and fast that would determine whether you would prefer one over the other.
Garrett, you're staying here.
Right as M's like cracking her knuckles to grab one. Alright.
Garrett will respond. So it's decided. All right. And he gets in the chair.
There we go.
Greta is obviously perturbed by this, but reluctantly steps onto the teleportation circle with you all. Garrett hooks himself up to the machine. It has, I think I described this settings technology as being like not super advanced, but also not Stone Age, or like medieval or
like
whatever.
Victorian, early Victorian, I think is what you said.
Yeah. So the machinery has like hoses, it has needles, and he uses them to connect himself to them. And when he first connects the IV looking device, there is a moment where it the fluid in the bottle that's held up by the chair lowers, and then it does that thing where some of the blood like shoots back up into the fluid that's being drained, coloring it at first, but then it begins to glow in the same color that the each of the pedestals glowed when you put the right components inside the bowls. The glow of the IV travels through the machine that Garrett has attached himself to, and into the circle, illuminating it from beneath you all with the same red glow that was in each of those bowls. And you all feel levity. You feel a lightness of your body. You might feel lightheaded depending on how well constituted you are. And your vision begins to fade. Just from using it, you all can tell that this magic doesn't involve. It's transportation, but it's not point A to point B. It's point A to point 2 to point star to point B, so to speak. And as such, you all see different locales before you actually get to your destination, to the front of Lord Dracula's castle. M, starting with you. You see your former pack leader. You see him alone, I think. But where do you think he is, given that he's not in this city? He's not in Wallachia.
Honestly, somewhere in France.
Okay. So
somewhere,
there's an ocean between you two. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a ways off. And last time we saw him, he was chasing you down. Is he still looking for you, do you think?
I believe he thinks M is dead because she fell over a cliff.
So he's in France because you, to him, not a problem anymore. Okay. Yeah, maybe we see him at a cafe. Doesn't seem to be his style, so whatever.
A bar.
A dive. Whatever the French equivalent of a dive is, we see him there, drinking, huddled over his, a buffet. Is that it?
No, I was just being a smartass.
Okay. Yeah, we see him nursing a drink, huddled over it, getting up to God knows what. And then we'll move over to Lady Anne. You have a history and a connection with the Infernal. and as such, you see little glimpses of the Inferno itself, of the realm from which you draw power, from which you borrow power, from the entities that live there. Um, is there any central or uh, is there anyone there that you correspond with more often than anyone else in drawing your power?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we ever named the demonic or infernal source that was the cult that I was a member of was
Hmm.
drawing from or was drawing to. But absolutely, that's who I'm communicating with the most. Maybe we'll just go with something classic like Beelzebub.
That was about perfect. So yeah, at first you'll get glimpses of that night, of the night that you lost your family, but your cult as well, to the massacre carried out by those overzealous cultist hunters, I guess they were. Um, and then you get glimpses of hell, of hot, searing hot spires of piles of brimstone upon which people are roasting alive, effectively. And you see your patron. Maybe glimpses of them. Do you think you see like full on like a portrait of them? Not literally a portrait, but you know, like their face and everything.
I think that he's almost always at the edge of my perception. I hear the
Mm.
beating of his wings, or I smell the brimstone, or I hear the hiss of steam as he touches water or something like that. But I almost never see him full on.
Yeah. So maybe when you draw on this power, you get those little glimpses, those little tastes of who this person is or who this demon is. And when you go through the teleporter, you see you see them tangibly. Like you see his wings beating, his hooves stomping. You see the steam protruding from his snout or face or whatever he has going on as a demon. Um, yeah, and that'll be it for the moment. Um, Nia as Moss. Visions aren't new to you, right? They are something that you've received. Do you think for do you think you've received them since you had the incident on the hill, or do you think it's something that has been occurring for your entire life?
I would say they've been occurring throughout my life, especially like in dreams usually, or
Okay.
like in moments of not really focusing.
Yeah. So earlier on, before you had the incident on the hill where you finally made contact in a meaningful way, you would have in your dreams, and maybe in passing here and there, the way Lady Anne does out of the corner of her, like in her peripheral, you would have smaller visions, smaller whispers of things that collected don't make sense. Like there's not enough there for you to make any sense of what's trying to be told to you. Um, After you make contact with the nameless, faceless, twisting horrors in space, they would become more significant. They would be actionable. You could actually do things about what's being shown to you. Given your experience with that, given that visions aren't new to you, you go a little farther. You snap back to that moment on the hill when you made contact. You see a little bit more, not its entirety, but a little bit more of the shape of the thing, of the things that have made contact and changed your neurology, your very way of thinking, and your experience of the world so drastically. Um, you are whipped from that moment to a vision of this planet in its infancy. You, from orbit, it would seem, see the sun setting behind it, but there's no recognizable landscape. It's all stone and magma, and it's all being pelted by asteroids and other stellar bodies that are just crashing into its surface. From there, you're whipped forward, or you would think forward, to visions of um, what would be obvious to you as a place that people live. It would look like a city, but it's far, far beyond what you've seen in terms of architecture. It's not shiny and chrome, but it is shiny and it is neat and it is far, far larger. than the city that you are familiar with. Cities, I guess, that you're familiar with. And you see beings going about their lives as any other living creature would, but you don't recognize their makeup. They are not simian, they're not ape descendants, they're alien. And then from that moment, your wit, you sense back to the present, to the right time and place, and you see a vision of a castle, a castle that's very much not just like stone and spires and parapets and all that, but it also has elements that are like a palace. Um, from the outside, you can see pillars that are crafted expertly, and they more often than not, or a lot of the features of the outside are more often than not gold and made of other precious metals and so on. You see this palace from outside, and you see it from the staircase leading up to its doors, and behind its front doors, you see two figures. You see a masculine figure standing over another masculine figure that is on the ground with a hatchet on its back, in its back. Above that figure is one that is more feminine, and they are pulling the hatchet out. At this moment, after M and Lady Anne have had their visions, you would all switch to this one as well. Effectively, you would be seeing the same thing now. You see those figures. You see the one standing over the other with the hatchet being pulled out of its back, out of their back, excuse me. And you all hear a conversation. You hear the masculine figure standing to the side say, "Well, now that that nasty business is taken care of, let's get back to what we were doing." And mid-sentence, this figure turns their head toward you all. Individually, you see this, so you don't know that they're looking at all of you, but you each feel that they're looking at you, and they cut themselves off. It would appear we have some company. Graves, if you will, you get the components, I will get the tome, and we'll meet back here. And the person next to them that was standing over the figure that has clearly been dispatched with the hatchet in their back starts to run away. Away from where they're standing, down the east wing of this palace. And the masculine figure that was standing beside them begins to not run but stride. And they turn around backwards, looking towards you all again. Not backwards entirely, but yeah, facing you while walking backwards pretty much. And they, still strutting, not running, not urgent from what you can tell, begin to disappear in a cloud of mist, and then reappear further down the west wing of this palace castle. And then they do that again a few times, blinking in and out of reality, and then showing up further down this west wing. And you all arrive. You materialize. Not that you would know it by that term, but you become solid again, and are standing in front of what you know to be Dracula's castle. It is a castle. It looks large. It looks extravagant, but it's also in style. It resembles more something like the castle at Versailles. So, like I said, it's more like a palace, but the structure is Castellan. What do you all do?
I'm curious what I know about Dracula's castle and Dracula within it. Can I make a lore roll?
Yeah, please do. You already have some hold too, right?
Would like to look around to see if I notice anything.
So the body is apparent. You would definitely notice that. You notice I'm trying to think if I want you to give me a poke around or if it's obvious. Yeah, go for it. Okay. You got something for that lore?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask my two questions now. Actually, first of all, is Mm-mm. Is anything out of place with my understanding of how things should be?
It is uncommon for a murder to have taken place in front of Dracula's castle.
Mm-hmm.
He is usually, I'll give you this for free too. He's usually by the books. He hasn't given the clergy of the town or the institution any, not reason, but like just cause or what's it called? Like probable cause to look into his business because he does everything by the book. So somebody being taking an axe to the back in front of his house is abnormal, atypical.
Sure. Excellent. And then as a follow-up, what ties these things together?
The body in the castle.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so you don't recognize this person, the body, but you recognize their dress. The institute doesn't have a formal uniform, but it has elements of a uniform that can be taken on instead. So like a patch or a tie, that sort of thing, an accessory that has coloration that that signifies that you're from the institute. This person is from the institute, um, and the fact that they are here tells you that they're involved in the things going on in the castle, whether they be typical or atypical. And that's not that in itself is atypical. Like you all don't do dealings here. You don't have any reason to enter, and you know it's not safe, or you suspect it's not safe.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question? I'm actually not entirely
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
exactly what I was looking for. I think if it's okay, Ash, before we resolve your poke around, I turn to Greta and just say, do you know this one?
I'm not familiar, but
Ignore that.
a member, certainly. Not one that I recognize. Not by name, at least, or appearance.
Hmm. It's a shame to lose one of ours, though. Always.
She side eyes you. I feel like she's standing, like, not in front of you, but kind of abreast and a little behind, and side eyes you, and then says, "Of course."
Yeah.
You gotta poke around for me, ma'am?
Yes. So I rolled an 11 for that. So that's 2 questions. But first, has M ever smelled vampires before?
I'll let you decide that, actually. You run with a pack of werewolves, like, it's... Yeah.
It would make sense. We were like, I'd say we were between France and Romania, probably like a Germany region when M was running with them.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's possible that, like, you've encountered lesser vampires, like, not Vlad himself, but
yeah.
yeah, small fry.
So, due to my keen nose ability, I get an additional one of these 2 questions.
Cool.
Whose sense can I smell here?
2 humans.
2
One's
humans.
yeah, one smells off. One you smell. I think your nose is good enough that when you fought those imps and gargoyles, the like weird avian reptilian, yeah, you would have gotten enough of a smell to recognize the scent elsewhere, and you recognize it here, albeit very faintly. So you smell a human and a human that smells like kind of like
Like
those
mildly
things.
of brimstone.
Yeah, that too.
Okay. So that answers that question. And then I got the 2 from actual poke around, which is, do I notice any tracks from like the blood or anything like that leading off?
Yes. So the one that pulled the hatchet out of this poor individual's back would not have been very diligent in like cleaning it afterwards. So there are droplets of blood leading down the east hallway that they
Okay.
took off down. Yeah.
Is there anything missing from the body that I can see? Like something was taken?
Oh yeah. No, not that you can gather. And also,
Okay.
no. I guess with these games, you're supposed to be like pretty liberal with like how much truth you give. So yeah, I'll just say no.
Okay. Then that's all I got.
Cool. Moss, was there anything you wanted to do here?
Yes, I wanted to use astral ritual sorcery
Cool.
because I don't need a scroll to do it, but I do need the 2 requirements. So I guess
Oh,
it
nice.
depends on whether I have that or not. It just says to have, I think it says to have you pick, depending on what the ritual is off
The
the list.
requirements. So I know for sure I'll choose the component one. I forget what the wording is exactly, but the one that says you need like a number of expensive components. Uh, did it say how many? I didn't catch if you said that.
It said at a minimum of 2, but it's I think it's up to your discretion. I'm wanting to do the ritual where I can meditate and have a symbolism filled vision of a previous event at your location.
Ooh, okay. Um, yeah. So I'll say the requirements are expensive and rare components, which you have to find and are destroyed by the ritual. And I also have something for that in a sec. And then you require help. Um, you need the help of at least 2 others to participate in this ritual, and you all suffer the drawbacks. Um, you can decide how they help, but yeah, that'll be one of the requirements that they need to help. And then the components. Let's see. For vision, you would need like an eye, maybe, uh, and then yeah, some sort of eye, and then yeah, some sort of like brain or spinal fluid or something. But I'll also say that hmm, uh,
Sorry.
I feel like oh yeah, go ahead. I feel like it would be fair to say that you could have gotten some of that stuff, if not both of those things, from the teleportation room, because it was like chock full of spell components, pretty much like weird viscera and all that.
Okay, so I have the material components and I just need the help then?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So at that point I would turn to the other 2 and say I might have a way to see what happened here, but I would need your help.
Do you explain the components you would need?
I have them. I don't think I would tell you if I already have them.
Oh, you already have them? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was prepared to have M just pull out claws and start ripping that corpse that's in
no
front of us.
need, no need yet.
Yeah. What are you? What do you need from us?
Well, we would need to join hands, and I would need to borrow some of your power. The drawback to that is if anything were to happen while I cast a spell, whatever consequences I suffer, you would suffer them as well.
Oh, of course, that's standard. I understand. Believe me, if there's anything I understand, it's consequences.
If we're going to be going into a fight, I don't think I'd want to be knocked back. Why not have Greta help?
That's a good idea. You can stand guard.
Would you be willing to help Greta?
Of course. I've never done this sort of thing before, but it seems necessary, doesn't it? What do you need from me?
You don't have to do anything, just join hands with me and concentrate.
Cool. So Greta will join hands with you and Lady M.
Okay, and I believe I roll Astral Sorcery. Let's hope this is a good roll.
Point of order. Last session, was our harm removed?
You just had one left, right?
Not all.
Okay.
So that's a 12.
Question before a result is narrated.
Yeah.
Do you get more benefit if you get a 13 or above on this? And would it be useful?
The spell works better than you expected it to.
Yeah. So it would be useful?
Yes.
I think so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then I am going to use my my sacrifice ability to spend one of my hold to amplify her spell.
Okay. This is from a past sacrifice, huh? Like the this is from the 6 or whatever you got from the headmaster.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to see if you had to sacrifice something else. Yeah. So it's a 12, and it just automatically gets one more, or what was it?
Yep. I provide a +1 to any roll that I could logically impact.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, the spell works better than you expected it to. So my headcanon here is that the eye is you float it on top of the spinal fluid, and it works like a like the like homebrew compass you can make or whatever, where you put a needle through a leaf and it spins on top. It does that. The eye spins
Needle into an eye?
into a leaf. Did I say eye?
No, I was just
Oh,
saying.
okay.
Is that
Oh,
what
no,
you
no,
were
no.
putting in?
No, the eye itself is just floating on top of this fluid, and it moves around as if it's looking around. And
Okay.
as it does that, Moss, you receive visions of the history of this space. Not too far back, but given that you've rolled or ended up with a 13 plus, you see further back than you would have otherwise. You see a vision that isn't just localized to this very spot either, but somewhere inside the castle. You see three people. No, sorry, four people. You see the stately uh, masculine person that was standing beside the body. You see the feminine person that was standing over the body. And you see what used to be a person and is now that body. Speaking to a fourth individual. Someone whose face you don't see. Um, but you do catch a glimpse of their garb, and it is impeccable. It's the finest clothes. They're the finest clothes that you've ever seen, and they're adorned with jewelry and whatever other extravagant, like luxurious accoutrement they could have on them. Um, you see cascading hair falling onto their chest, but you don't see their face. And they're speaking to those three individuals. Um, they say, "You three, I need the book, and I need the components for the spell. I need to be here, so you all need to find them." And then from there, we shift forward a little bit to an argument between those three. And you don't hear the details of it, but you catch the altercation that led ultimately to the feminine figure putting their axe in that person's back. And then you catch the conversation that you had walked into arriving here, where the stately masculine person says, "Graves, you find the components, I'll find the book, and then we'll get back here." But you also hear them whisper under their breath, "And if you can help to kill them, that would be excellent." And then they take off in the directions that they had left earlier. At this point, I think it's fair that you all would gather, or you at least, Moss, would know that the feminine axe murderer is named Graves.
Okay. Once I am done with the spell, I will relay that information to the rest.
All right. So we have a trail that I can most likely follow. We have, I have their scents at the very least.
Mhm.
So if we want to follow them, M could probably start leading the way.
Yeah.
Is there something?
Which one did you want to follow? The one that left the blood trail?
I'm sorry. I'm talking to the party out of the game.
Oh yeah. So go ahead.
So we can decide if we want to go to follow someone right now or what we want to do with that. What do we think?
Yeah, I think following someone seems like a good idea. I'm interested in the one who has done the killing, I guess. But I'm open.
Would M be able to tell which one did the killing? Was it the one that smelled faintly of brimstone, or was it the other one?
It's the one
Okay,
that
so
smelled
it's
off.
the same one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then that was most likely be the one M would want to follow.
Okay. I also neglected to describe the rest. So there's two wings to this building, at least to this like foray area of it, but it's huge. Like I said, it's like the Palace at Versailles. It's got those two wings to either side, but right in front of the doorway there is the rest of that foyer leads to hallway isn't a great word because it's much larger, but it leads to like a grand staircase that leads up onto a platform that you can tell from here, and then beyond that you don't know. And then the two figures went down the east and west halls But your intent is to follow the east hall, or the figure that went down the east hall, Graves.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think that warrants a hunt roll, because the path itself is pretty obvious. Like there's blood on the ground, so you make your way down. Um, let me open. I thought. You make your way down that hallway. You do, at least, M. Does anybody else have objections or plans of their own?
Emma was talking to the party about that as well in world. That was just me saying it out of world. So I'm asked what their opinions were, and then went after that one.
So Graves, you say this one is? Let's follow him. I agree.
Let's go.
There
Okay.
we go.
So you make your way down.
I think rolling a hunt would be good.
Yeah.
Because then we could determine, do they get the drop on us? Do we get the drop on them?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it kind of like a same time, end of the hallway type of deal?
No, that's a great idea. Yeah, go ahead and roll hunt.
My hunt is a number that is somewhere. What is the... Oh, it's a poke round. So it's 2, 9. So that is a 2. You both spot each other, or you find who you're looking for just a little bit too late.
You're muted.
Thank you.
What?
Yeah, so I'll say both things happen. You catch up to them just as they're entering the room that is the terminus of this hallway, of this wing, and they make their way inside that room before you can catch up to them in like properly. But you do see their face. Like I said, they're of a feminine, like lean in appearance. Their actual gender you wouldn't know, obviously. But they appear to be like feminine presenting. They have a bloody axe on their hip. It is no longer dripping, but it is still covered in blood. What else? They're wearing clothes that are certainly not as fine as the figure that Moss saw in. It's she/they for Moss, right?
Yep.
In their vision, and then a little bit less nice than the stately masculine person that was with them. They are not quite Popper's clothes, but they are like a working person's clothes. Yeah, that's as much as you get from seeing them before they enter this room. I assume you're at the doorway at this point. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would think it is.
Okay.
Let's not forget that we probably want to speak with this person. Lady N says that staring.
Right as M is getting ready to kick the door in. It's like, well, should we knock then?
Oh no, I was talking more about the end of the encounter, not the beginning.
Before you even finish that, Emma's gonna kick the door in.
Not the beginning.
So these are big palace doors. You're still
Emma's
able
gonna
to
kick the door in.
Yeah, no, you're very much able to. Anybody else, I think, would have trouble with it, and they would just swing open kind of limply. But you,
Oh yes, my strength. I probably can't even open the palace doors without violence. Like I could push as hard as I could, and little Lady Anne is just gonna be like, "I need demonic assistance to open the door."
Make a sacrifice to open a door. That would be.
Someone give me a gerbil.
Yeah, with your lupine strength, you kick the doors and they slam open. And before you lies a room. I think I described the library of the institute as being like auditorium size, like rather large. This room is of about the same size. It's huge, and it resembles a trophy room. There are heads of different species lining the walls. There are racks of just like the teleportation room, the secret room in the library. There are racks upon racks of specimens of different sources, so parts, brains, eyes, etc., in jars lining the racks of this room, and then the heads as well on the sides. Ambling about the room, ambling about the room are people, humans. You could tell that they're human, but something is off, and I'll get to that in a sec. Their expressions are vacant. They are slightly gaunt, not skin and bones, but clearly not very healthy and not um yeah, just not well. There's something missing from them, whether it be nutrition or yeah, something along those lines. And they're ambling about this room.
Can we see the person wielding the axe at all?
No.
Okay, M kicks in, ready to say something, sees this, and starts doing a sniff.
You got a hunt roll for me?
An 11.
On a 10 to
That
12, you get the
is-
jump on your target. Yeah, so their scent is unique enough that you're able to pick it out in this room. Oh, what I meant to describe earlier. These people, they're like, I want to be careful here. There is portions of them missing that would make them seem like they're like a little bit less human. They're not, by our standards, like above game, they're not. But they have pieces of them missing in like a metaphysical way that affects their being, and you kind of pick up on that. They smell human, but they smell off. And there is that human that you're actually looking for that smells very, very off in comparison. The brimstone, the avian features, the reptilian features. Um, they're somewhere further back in these racks. This room isn't super well lit. It's not pitch black, but they're somewhere in the back corner of this room at this point. Toward the back corner of this room, I should say.
M will silently point that direction, and determining whether or not M will shift. Yeah, I think M will shift to full wolf and start rushing over there to like bite the arm and start dragging the human over to Anne.
So dramatic.
I'll say you find them well enough. I don't know that this warrants a combat. No, it doesn't. So yeah, you find them. You
Actually,
find them.
I'm not gonna bite. I'm just gonna like get up to them and start growling, like barking, and start to like corral them back.
Okay, you catch them halfway up a ladder. Like the library had those ladders that swing around or swing back and forth. They're halfway up, reaching for a component or a jar that may or may not contain components.
Oh, M's smart enough, gonna grab the bottom and just rip and move it.
Okay. Is that a move, or does that just happen?
Your call.
It is, isn't it?
Because it is 100% your call as the GM. I would say, looking at this, considering they're farther up the ladder and really have no control over the ladder moving, comparatively, I think it might be a contested battle because they are like grabbing out of the shelves, maybe.
Oh, I was gonna say it would be relatively easy for you to just like shoulder check as a big wolf, like shoulder check the ladder, like that. That I think wouldn't take any effort at all.
Can I swap between?
So yeah.
Are there rules? Well, never mind.
Sorry, go ahead.
Keep going.
Go ahead.
So yeah, you are able to make them fall.
How far do they fall?
Not enough to die.
Okay, I'm just trying to move the ladder so they can't grab the ingredient they're after. I'm not trying to make them fall off.
What did you get? A 12? No, an 11.
Yeah, for the hunt.
Okay, I'll say to say you got the jump on them means that you were able to catch up when they had found what they were looking for, and you knock them off with it in their hands. So they come down. This bottle comes down. It cracks open, and a bunch of orange, red, yellow, like warm-colored feathers poof out of it. And as you're corralling them, they pick a few up. They clutch a few and like shove it in a pocket or something.
Bite at their arm or a hand so they cannot get the feathers.
Okay, that I feel like is a move for sure. Daring action I don't think makes sense. Maybe convinced in a very not cordial way.
Please not convince.
I mean, it might just be straight up battle.
Because they're reaching at it and I'm biting their hand, so I am attempting to deal harm to them.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, go ahead and roll battle.
10, so that is
Choose 2.
Choose 2. I'm going to deal harm, and I'm going to take or keep an item or position from that opponent, and I'm going to, keep them from getting the feathers.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so you take the feathers. What's
And
your
deal
harm? 3?
In my wolf form, it's 5.
Okay.
Being claws and bite, 5 harm.
Yeah, so they're human. Like, normal. Well, as far as you can tell, a normal human. And
Well,
you...
small brimstone, so it's,
Yeah. Physically, though, yeah. You gore them. Not to the point where their guts are falling out and everything, but they have, like, a sizable gash in their side. Or actually, do you want something specific?
I was going for the arm, specifically.
Okay, yeah, so a gash in their arm.
Yeah,
they
rip part of the hand off.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's fair. Maybe, like, a pinky or something comes off, pinky and ring finger. And you also, this is mid stroke or whatever, as they're, like, trying to put it in their pocket, they're not able to. The leaves, feathers that they're clutching fall free, and you're able to take them. So you have those
I will
feathers.
stand over top them and growl angrily.
They're horrified, terrified, petrified.
I start barking to get everyone's attention.
Moss and Lady Anne, you hear barking from further down in this room.
Very aggressive barking.
I think that's what she said. Okay.
Well, that way, I guess.
Follow after the barking.
Yeah.
Graves, is it?
Hi, that's my name. They're on the verge of hyperventilating, clutching their hands, not making eye contact with any of you.
You see blood on the wolf's face. Smiles at you.
Graves, you seem to have a fair bit more information than I do at this point. And I would like to know what is going on here, what's going on tonight, and what your role in all this is.
Is this a move, or are you...
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll roll interview.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I will also say I cannot use convince in beast form anyway.
Nice.
Oh.
Cool. Yeah, I'll spend another one of my hold to raise this up again. I can't believe I'm spending hold on information, but I like information. That's not surprising. Okay. I'll spend another one of my hold to up this. To give me 2 questions. Let's see, what do I want to ask? Oh, I get 3 questions actually because of a move I took. Let's see. Let's see. Well, I guess I'll ask my special move first. What is this person most? What does this person most feel guilty about? Is that what I have here? Is that how it's supposed to be worded? Grand guilt. What does this person feel most guilty of?
They have been caught. They were not supposed to have been caught, and you've cornered them, and you have them at an impasse.
Fair enough. That
as a freebie,
it's a freebie, yeah. So I don't really mind that much.
As another freebie, you can tell that they don't feel guilty in the slightest about the murder that they've committed.
Perfect. Yeah. So what is this person hiding from me?
In clutching their chest, or clutching their hand to their chest, you can see that they're also trying to position themselves so that you cannot see something that is inside their coat. It is a book in their breast pocket.
I'm gonna reach down and reach for the book.
Cool. So it is a book detailing all, maybe not all, but within this kingdom, or within this area, all known knowledge of the astral forces of the gods that lay beyond the beyond, etc., etc.
I take a quick glance at it and says, "What are you doing with this?"
Just some light reading. They smile with blood in their grin. Are you flipping through it?
I haven't yet, but I will shortly.
Okay.
So, what's going on here? What's the plan? Why the chaos and why tonight?
Are you spending hold here, or is this just?
No, I'm conversing. I can spend another hold, but I need to like have something to spend it on to a certain extent. So I'm just talking.
I'm afraid that's privileged information, but I can tell you, you're on the wrong side.
Oh, really? And what side is the right
Yes.
side?
Is that
Ah. And
M
what does
comes
that
out of
mean?
wolf form.
okay? I didn't catch what you said, Lady Anne.
I said, ah. And why is that? I'm
Yes.
easily swayed, you know. I'm very practical. If you convince me that his is the right side, swap sides I will.
His is the side of the divine, of everything right in the world, of everything that can rectify everything wrong in this world.
And with that, I'll spend my last hold. Are there any inconsistencies in this person's story?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
And I think what I'm really aiming for here is, well, I mean, no, I'll let you answer it as you see free.
Okay. I guess what you would have heard about Vlad before, it doesn't surprise you that he has some sort of like divine bent to his whole thing. That either he or the people around him believe that he's. Some of them maybe believe he's God sent, straight up. Others might just believe he's a very, very holy person. So, in the sense that that information tracks within the world, no, there's no inconsistencies.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
actually,
exactly
yeah,
what I'm looking for. Yeah,
totally.
but I would also I would think of this as being like a belief, not a
Yeah.
reality.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm happy to go against Vlad the Impaler. If Vlad the Impaler has been blessed by Jesus Christ, then let's see. Maybe not. Okay, then I flip open the book and start paging through it.
Okay.
M spits out the extra blood that's in her mouth.
Okay. You find a tattered note written on vellum or parchment or whatever. It's rough hewn on the edges, not neatly cut but torn out, with scrawled writing on it. There are 3 phrases written down. 1, phoenix down. 2, saurian scales. 3, precursor ape fur. And one thing that would have been obvious as you caught up with this person is that they have another thing on their person, a mask, a rather realistic looking mask of a nondescript face, of a masculine face, I'll say.
Sorry, just for my notes, you said Phoenix down, Saurian scales, and what?
Precursor, ape, fur.
Interesting. I think I hand this to Moss and say, "This looks more like your jam than mine."
I think these are the phoenix things, pointing at the feathers that are currently under her feet.
Seems likely. But the purpose of the ritual, or whatnot. Moss, do you have any clue?
Do I have any clue?
I think that would be a lore.
Okay.
Either that
That's
or
one of the things.
sorcery. No, lore, I think maybe makes more sense.
I love how not smart M is.
That's a good character trait. I like playing.
That's why it's fun.
So I guess I would ask, what ties these things together? What ties all these ingredients together?
Yeah. So they all belong to creatures that are not contemporary. So like they don't belong to birds of today. They belong to the ancestors of the birds. They don't belong to lizards of today. They belong to ancestors of lizards. That sort of thing. They are old, and they're all organic. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. And while I'm at it, if I page through the book, is there anything that pops out to me?
Yeah. First, that it's the book you're looking for. Second, that on the card thing on the front or whatever, those like checked out by, etc. the name Harlock Graves is there.
Oh, you're the one. I was looking for this book. Well, now I have it. So, what exactly were you hoping to accomplish with this ritual? Because I sure can't figure it out.
They spit at your feet. Wouldn't you like to know? There's blood mixed in, obviously.
And spits back with their own blood.
Oh my god. What's everyone's positioning right now? Like,
That's actually what I was just about to ask. What is the blocking of this scene?
Yeah, so this person's on the floor.
yes.
I would be encouraging M to be like near this person because, as far as I can tell, right now M is the muscle, right? And so, like, I don't want this person to escape. So if M moves to like stand up or back away, I would like frown and like gesture, like, no, stay near.
M wouldn't do that anyway.
Yeah.
The way I was seeing it was M was on one side, and I was figuring we were in like two really tight bookcases, like 10 feet maybe. And M was on one side while Moss and Anne and Greta are on the other. Is kind of how I was imagining that scene.
Oh, cool. So we're actually looking through bookcases at you.
Yes. No.
Oh, that's
No.
cool.
So like not on the other side of the bookcases. Like you guys are
on the other side of
the
okay, cool.
of them. So like we're flanking them.
On either side of the aisle.
Yeah,
well, not the
that's
aisle,
kinda
but
how
either side of them, blocking off
Yeah,
the
it's
aisle.
kind of how I saw that.
Okay. I think, yeah, so I guess Apocalypse World, or PBTA games, I'm supposed to say, like, their intent, like, what they're about to do, and you can react. They're very obviously trying to escape. I think they don't think that they can take you, M. They don't think they could take you in a million years. And they know that they have better odds at going up against Tomas and Lady Anne. So they do.
And Greta. They want to go against
Greta.
one.
In that case, I will say M goes hybrid wolf the second that the one that has the axe starts moving towards them, and we'll go full on.
Okay. So they still have their weapon on them, unless anybody took it. They still have a few of their effects. They have the mask and they have the weapon. They scramble up, not very fast because they're really injured, but they throw the axe behind them. It misses you. I won't even try to like battle or anything. But they use the distraction to begin to try to overpower both Lady Anne and Moss, to just like blow through them essentially. What do you all do?
With that, M will grab Jacket, pull off, and in the same motion, turn into the hybrid wolf and start running right to them.
Okay. What was the first thing you said? Grab what?
Grabs her jacket, rips it off, and then goes. Am I quiet right now, or
No, you're good.
No, you're good. That was me.
That was adjusting my levels earlier.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah. So this isn't hunt. This is just I guess daring action, but it's also.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's daring action for Lady M. I'm trying to get out of the way.
Oh, you want to let them pass?
No, but I'm not in a position to physically battle them. So I think I'm trying to dodge the potential injury.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I'm not trying to dodge out of the way. I am trying to cast a spell.
Cool. So that's. I think.
This be a battle?
Maybe you're trying to catch up to them.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I am actively going to try to like do harm to this person. They threw the axe at my friends. I'm
Then,
seeing red going.
They threw it at you.
They threw it at me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just like, oh, you fucked up, and it's gonna go right for the throat.
Okay, so that's a battle from you, Astral Sorcery from Moss, and then Daring Action from Lady Anne.
I get one on the battle.
Nice.
Which I'm just going to go for the harm, considering they were almost hyperventilating from me biting their hand earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So in my current form, that is 5 harm. Again, I believe. I don't know if I get anything else. I'm double checking. And if it matters, my everything counts as silver as well. So if I was attacking another wolf, it goes through their armor.
Actually, give me 1 sec.
And does it have armor? Do they have armor?
Let me check that too. Actually, actually, for now, I'm gonna say no.
Okay. Because
But I'll
that's
check on this
just
later.
that would trigger another ability, which is whenever I deal harm to a creature with armor, it reduces it by 1.
Okay. Yeah. For now, they do not.
Got it.
I successfully throw myself out of the way. I did not see that coming.
I successfully cast my spell, which is wrapping a target in spectral tendrils, keeping them from moving for a turn.
Oh shit! Well, damn. I feel like that would make M's thing a little easier too. Is that? Uh,
Mhm.
yeah. So, or yeah, maybe that lends itself to explaining why M did so well and does another 5 harm. Did you have another effect, M, or was it just the extra harm?
That's just it's just the 5 harm. So it wouldn't do
Okay.
extra harm; it would reduce their armor. I was double checking on my abilities.
Okay.
If are they next to each other? Am I able to like get them right next to each other right now?
There's only one of them.
I thought there were
Graves.
2.
It's just Graves.
Yeah,
Right?
just Graves.
Oh, then yeah.
The other one
Okay, just
headed off in the other direction, in the opposite
Yeah.
direction. Yeah. So I think the scene is this person or Graves blowing past Lady Anne harmlessly, and then past Moss as well. But Moss gets this spell cast, and they get wrapped in. Do you have like a visual for the tendrils?
Yeah, I imagine they look, transparent. They're astral in nature, kind of resembling octopus tentacles.
Oh, yeah. So they're wrapped up in these aquatic octopoda arms. They fall, and I think, or you can decide too, but I think you're able to get the drop on them from above. And yeah, where do you want to land your harm?
Would this kill them? They've taken 5
Uh,
harm previously, and then another
yeah,
5.
so 10 harm. Yes, yes.
Just claws to the head, right in the back, and then smash it down.
Um, so obviously you're doing slashing damage, so to speak. Is there any like battering, like bashing element to this too?
Yeah, so it's like grab. So it's
Because
like
you're pretty
coming
big,
in and
right? Yeah.
grabbing with the claws, and then smashing the head in.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like
So
a
you do
watermelon.
that successfully. Um, they're Uh, their skull collapses partially, and for the moment they are limp and not resisting the whole of the tentacles anymore.
M Wolf will smell to make sure they're dead.
You get the same smell, human with a hint of reptilian
Brimstone.
avian offness. Yeah.
Okay. So can't tell from the smell alone. Got it.
I mean, their heads collapsed, but also if you wanted to check their pulse or something, you would see that it's no longer there.
Okay. In which case, M will let out a roar, let go, and then start sniffing the air for the other human whose scent I would recognize.
We were unlikely to get any more information out of her anyway. People that devoted to foolish ideas like worshipping Vlad. Pff, stupid idiots. Um,
But still, I want to grab whatever remains of the skull. Just tuck it away.
Of
The
their
majority
skull?
of the head is there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can do that.
For later spells.
So as far as their personal effects go, they have the mask and they have the hatchet, and I think that's it because you guys got the book and the note. Yeah. Yeah. As you release this victorious howl, those vacant people that were ambling around towards the front. I don't think you can see this, but they turn slightly, their heads slightly toward the sound, and then go back to shambling around this room.
yeah. I'm gonna wonder about the ritual. Can I make a lore roll about the ritual ingredients that we're being searched for?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Where's my lore? There it is.
And then, as I said, M was sniffing around for that other scent, so I'll make a poke around hunt roll.
Yeah.
I get nothing.
Okay. Do you have any hold left to spend?
I have plenty of hold left to spend. I'm just debating whether I want to spend it. Probably I do. Yeah, I'll spend a hold. Mostly because I think it's fun to sacrifice things, and there's no point in sacrificing things until I spent all my hold. So I'll spend a hold to get a question. And I'll ask, what do I ask? You've given us a little bit about the history of the ingredients by tying them together. What kind of magic are these ingredients used for?
Ooh, yeah. Actually, you would know exactly. It's conjuration.
Summonings.
Mm-hmm. And given the age, given the information that Moss got, you would know it's a summoning of something very old, or something's very old. Yeah.
Does anyone know anything about Vlad's lore? What he believes in? What he might be trying to summon? What ancient creatures he may be trying to bring forth? Moss?
To be honest, I'm not really familiar in this realm of knowledge.
No ancient creatures that you might know something about?
Let me think.
Meanwhile, what did you get on that hunt? Em?
I got a 10. So that is 10 to 12. Get the jump or get ahead of your target. So when everyone's ready to go find the other person.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. We'll resolve that after this lore roll.
Indeed. Ooh, 13.
Nice.
Okay, so gathering that it's a summoning spell of some kind, exactly what type of creature
Good.
are they
Yeah.
trying to summon?
It's this new kind of creature. Well, new to you all. These avian, reptilian, simian monsters that have shown up out of nowhere as of late, including the imps, the gargoyles that you all fought at the beginning, and the massive, the titanic like Godzilla-esque creature that is currently rampaging through Wallachia.
Okay. What is this creature capable of and weak to?
Um, Actually, is that was that too broad? I think that answer might have been too broad because it says exactly what type of creature.
Yeah, and we're looking at the ritual, so we're wondering what is like. This is someone who's trying to cast the ritual, not someone who has already cast the ritual. I'm wondering what creature they are. Like, are they summoning a second Godzilla? Are we going to get two of these things?
Right. Okay. Yes. So you know, in this realm, dragons are mythic. They don't exist as far as anyone knows. But this summoning, well, I guess just going on the components. These components are meant to summon something that is of that makeup of the weird trifecta of creatures, but is oriented in such a way that it resembles a dragon.
Okay.
A mythic kind of holy abomination dragon. And your other question was,
What is this creature capable of and weak to?
yeah, one sec. It can fly. It can expel a breath weapon. Of what kind, I think, might be unclear. Above game, like mechanically, it doesn't matter a ton. Weak two. It's like what's his name? It's like Smaug. It has a weak spot in its construction in its body, where if you land a strike perfectly, it will take enough damage to be dispatched or affected heavily enough that it will be weakened.
Beautiful.
I think you have a third, right?
Yeah. Could you repeat the very last thing you said? Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, that's cool. It has a weak spot. It has it's not of the same make as like fictional dragons in our world, to where it has like scale like plating that's like impenetrable. Uh, but somewhere on its body, it has a weak spot that can be exploited for for massive damage. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Then I guess my third question is gonna be: is anything out of place with my understanding of how things should be?
Yeah, dragons don't exist. Dragons don't exist, and these creatures are completely outside of the realm of like what is normal. Because even demons and stuff and monsters of all sorts have featured like pretty heavily in your lives, given that you're members of this institute that takes care of such creatures. But these like proto demonic, seemingly like bioengineered um, features are like completely profane, even by these standards.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I imagine how this worked is I consulted the the sleeper that I'm in
Oh yeah.
contact with, and we just have a little chat, and after that kind of shake it off and relay what I've learned.
Is it apparent when you make contact? Like does something change about your form or anything like that?
I mean, it would be noticeable if I just sat there with my eyes closed for a while. So, in that sense,
Cool. Um yeah, so you get all that. You get those glimpses from the dreamer. Um Ash, I believe you wanted to try to catch up to the other person.
Yes.
Or
Once the
actually,
rest
I
of
believe you succeeded, right?
yes, I got the jump on him.
Cool. Um, so I actually am not entirely sure how to resolve that because it's been at this point moments, uh, or minutes maybe, since they departed. Um,
Then
but you
we'll
know
just have to
exactly where they went. Yeah, you know exactly where they went.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask the group. Well, do we want to go after that other one? What's the plan?
If Vlad's intent is to summon a literal dragon of mythos um, into the world, um, perhaps there are ingredients here. And I'm gonna do like a quick search of the place
Oh
for
yeah.
ingredients that would help me. I have no. I mean, a dragon is its own thing.
Mhm.
I have the power to bind, it's to banish bound demons, and bound spirits and things like that. Like anything that's like some things that are bound, I can get out, go back home or whatever.
Yeah.
And so but I don't have no idea if it would work on a dragon. But I'm gonna just look around this room full of stuff, and I'm gonna look for things that would help me banish this creature. And I'm also gonna look for a holy symbol just in case we do have to come across Lad himself.
Yeah. Is that a poke around?
Sure. Yeah, I'll
I
poke
think it
around.
might be.
I will poke around. Oh God, I'm gonna spend another hold to get that up to a 7. um.
M could assist you if you're
Ooh,
telling her
even
what to look for.
yeah, absolutely. I would know what to look for, even though, sorry, Lady Anne would know what to look for, even though Matthew does not. But some sort of whatever I would use in binding, whatever the resource cost in binding rituals are.
Oh, so what do you have? Is it
Uh,
on the roll? I mean, was
uh,
it?
well, if I'm getting assisted, yeah, let's check.
Do I roll
poker.
individually for assists? I don't remember.
Um,
Just get
I actually don't know how assists work in this system, but if you can roll, and then depending on the successes, like if you get one question, you get like one, or you give one forward to Lady
Mhm.
Anne, as opposed to an actual question.
I'll give one forward to Lady Anne.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mine would be
that raised
two
me just-
questions. So would that be 2 forward?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
There you go. You get 2 forward.
Awesome.
puts
I will
you up
take
to-
that. That puts me at 8. Uh, Nope, I'm happy with that. I'm just gonna I'm gonna search around for the ingredients that I would need for this.
Yeah. So you of all people, I think have the best understanding of what these creatures actually are, because you know that they're like proto-demonic, um, like preceding both divine and infernal creations or beings, I guess. Um, and you are familiar enough with conjuration to know that uh, you will need components that describe the creature itself in some way, and you know that essentially that's what the list is, uh, but
Perfect.
with the opposite aim. Um, as far as warding or banishing goes, I what kind of component do you think would do that? Like what's uh
Oh boy.
yeah
Yeah, I mean, it usually depends on like the creature to a certain extent.
yeah. So these are
Like
like
cold iron
infernal.
for Fey or
Yeah.
holy symbols for undead. I forgot
Silver
what it
for
would be for demons
werewolves.
though. What?
Silver for wolves.
Silver for wolves. What is it for demons though? I know that there is something for demons, but I forget.
Holy water
Holy water. Cool.
is
Awesome.
typically the common one. Holy water and like silver also works for them in some lores.
Cool. Well, I'll definitely go for
Yeah.
holy water, and I think I find it very like uncomfortable to touch because like
Yeah.
And we'll grab it.
I don't do well in holy water either.
I'll say you find a jar in these racks of ingredients of a monk's hand suspended in holy water. So you have all the ingredients that you think you need to banish this creature.
Great.
Just to get an idea of what your aim is, do you want to do something ritualistic to try to banish it, or just like infernal sorcery?
It would be ritualistic. I can't banish with combat sorcery, so
Okay.
it would be a ritual.
Do you have the same? Do you have the same feature that allows you to cast rituals without a scroll?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, you have.
Oh wait,
everything you need.
let me double check. Sorry, let me actually double check. That
Yeah,
is
go
a
for it.
good question. Pardon me while I look at the.
I don't actually know what Moss has.
Yeah, no, I don't need to find it or write it down. I don't need it. Yeah, I think actually all of the like equivalent to full casters specializing in their field don't have that ability for their field.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So I would need a ritual scroll to cast a ritual of non-infernal sorcery. Yeah. But yeah, so that's the question then.
Actually, so I explained at some point that conjuration is the domain of the infernal. Bringing things across the planes is like disordered and chaotic, and very much in the style of the infernal. I think banishment is more divine, or what we think of as divine. So I think you're missing the scroll.
Okay.
Like I don't think it is infernal, if that's all right.
Okay. Yeah, of course that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't have access to divine magics. That's totally fine. I love that.
So yeah, you need that.
Yeah. I don't. That's awesome. It doesn't even exist, which makes it even cooler, right? None of us could even have it because the only options are astral necromancy or infernal. So that's even cooler.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be something that you would come across in the institute or yeah, your usual haunts. Yeah, so if that's all for Moss and Lady Anne, you're leaving this room intent on
Only
finding the
if
other
the
person.
other people are coming with me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Once everyone's ready, then we'll head out. And that was a success of
10.
Yes.
Moss, were you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just gotta make sure I grab that skull.
Yeah. Yeah.
M can rip it off. It's still kind of attached to a body. There's still face and muscle on it. And
Yeah.
can take care of that if you'd like her
Yeah,
to.
I just need the skull part. Just need the bones.
Turn around.
No, I mean it's all right.
Blender.
Great. I love it.
No, no.
M is terrifying.
Yeah, yeah. It really is. Is it also she they for M? I forgot.
She they, but usually she.
Okay. Was it she
I
her
believe
for
it is
Lady
she.
Anne?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's
No?
lady. This lady, damn it.
But yeah, so a 10 to 12 is you get the jump or on or ahead of your target, so it means we are able to catch up relatively quickly.
Normally, I think you would catch up. But as you're leaving this room, you hear behind you, as you're leaving, the sound of glass shattering, of
Is it a
hundreds,
dragon?
no, of hundreds upon hundreds of glass jars shattering and dispelling their shit. What's the word for stuff contained within? Yeah, dispelling all the stuff. Contents. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, spilling their contents on the ground. Some liquid, some solid. And you hear the sound of those racks pulling the domino effect thing and collapsing. Yeah, you hear that behind you.
M is going to pick up Moss and Lady Anne and just run faster.
Okay.
Get the fuck out of there.
So you're in the East Wing, and you're making your way toward the west because you know exactly that the other person. Yeah.
Would that be a daring action, or is it one of those things where it's like not that big of a deal?
If you're just running, no. If your immediate response is to run, no. But you make your way to the east hallway, and after the sound of glass shattering and wood crashing into itself ceases, you hear another sound, one that is more organic. You hear
like meatballs exploding.
yeah, actually. It would be sounds that you are a little bit familiar with, and it is the sound of flesh distending, bone extending, and cracking to form new shapes, and it is coming from the room you're leaving. But
M
you've made it
wants
to
turn around, but will not. Keep
Okay.
talking.
Well, M is carrying us, so
I'm gonna, yeah.
Keep going.
Should I have asked if you all were okay with being carried? I feel like maybe I should have.
I am fine with it.
Yeah.
M is strong enough. That's no issue. That's a certainty.
Flex.
Yeah. So at this point, you've heard that noise, and I think you've heard it first, just because your senses are so keen. And you've arrived back at the center, at the area between, yeah, between the two wings of this foyer, in front of the grand staircase.
Okay.
Are you continuing to the west wing, or?
Before we get that far, at that door, I'll set the two down, tell them to keep moving. Is there a table or anything near the initial doors into the library area?
Yeah, there's some decorative tables with decorative stuff on them, potpourri,
Okay.
whatever.
The legs look like if I broke one off, I could stick it in the door to hold it.
Of the east wing?
Of the east wing, yeah.
You'd have to get over to it. Sorry, did you mean the entrance doors? Was there a table there?
To the library.
Oh, okay. So the tables I'll say are by the entrance. The east wing is obviously the library is obviously at the end of the east wing. So you would have to make a daring action to get back to the east wing and get that in the door. But yes, it would fit.
Okay. What do I see? The thing that's the sounds of flesh melding together?
Not yet.
Great. I'm going to do the daring action, and I fail very horrifically.
What does that mean?
So on a 6 blow, you fail to accomplish goal, and something bad takes place. So I can take 1 to 2 harm, drop, lose, destroy, or use up an important item. End up in a bad position, taking -1 forward. Draw attention to yourself that you didn't want, which is probably what happens. I think M goes upstairs to grab a table instead of like jumping off of another table, not even thinking about it, and then like falls on her back or something.
And this is in front of the library?
Yes.
Like this is on your way over?
On the way over. Like instead of barricading the door, I accidentally bashed through it.
Okay.
Tumbled ass over tea kettle.
Yeah, and then when the doors open again, you see the source of those sounds of the distending flesh and bone and all that. And it is exactly that. It is a mass of flesh and bone. It also has eyes, more than it should, or more than any typical being should. And they all shift towards you. All these eyes of different sizes, placed erratically throughout its messed up bolus form
How
shift towards
far
you.
away is it?
So it's incidentally it's near or it's in the exact spot that you left Graves, and I'll say that was like not all the way back into the racks, but a ways back. So you're at the door. It's maybe like 15 meters. I don't. Yeah, it's not next to you. I'll say that much. But it sees you.
Is there like a oil lamp or anything in here that's lit?
Sure. Yeah, I think there's some that are kept magically lit, but keep oil in them as like a pretense or something, as a to
I will
keep
grab
up appearances.
literally all of them as fast as I can and just start yeeting them at the pile of flesh.
Okay. I don't know if that's even a battle. I feel like, yeah, utilizing the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll say that's battle. But if you get any like, you get bonuses to using your claws, right, or being in certain forms.
I don't think so.
Claws are just harm.
Oh, I do. When in beast form, I get a +1 to battle and hunt, as well as during action. So I think before
Okay.
that, I'll go to the hybrid form.
Okay, that's fair to say.
So
I'll say you do get that +1, despite the fact that you're not using claws. It's
Yeah.
my headcanon is that you're throwing them hard enough in your beast form that it does.
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
+1 ongoing.
Okay, so yeah, go for it. Battle.
Focus on speed or brute strength. There we go, and that is a 13. So I do it very well. Choose 3, so I'm just gonna yeet all of them and light it on fire.
Do you want to spend all three on the extra harm?
Yeah.
Okay.
So how much harm does fire do?
I'll say you have time to throw like 4,
Okay.
and each of those will do 2 fire.
Okay.
So 8 total, and then you're spending all 3 on extra harm.
So that's the additional 2 harm on top of the weapons.
2 harm. So 10 total.
10, yes.
Okay, yeah, you chuck these lanterns at this thing, whatever it is, and it hates it. It shrieks. You don't see where the sound is coming from, but from somewhere in its form, it is emitting a howl of pain.
You guys in the main hall hear M yelling, "Fucking die! Fucking die! Fucking die! Fucking die!" over and over and over, but more like,
You need
"Fucking die!"
assistance.
I don't know if you can hear, if I'm gonna hear you.
I mean, it sounds like it. I don't think we need to ask.
Oh, you never know. It's M.
As soon as M throws the last one, she'll pick up that leg that she brought with her, go to the other side of the doors, close them, and try to jam it.
Okay. Yeah, you're able
her
to do
initial
that.
goal.
Yeah, you slide the arm or the leg through the handles of the doors. They're large enough that the leg can fit through, despite being rather large and sturdy.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything else, or are you just taking off back towards Moss and Lady M?
M is taking off.
Okay, so on that shot of M sprinting down the hallway, I think in hybrid form, we'll take a break, I think. 8 o'clock, right? We do break?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep,
okay.
Sounds about right.
Cool. Yeah, so we'll be right back. 10 minutes. 8:15. Okay.
Hey world, welcome back to our gothic-y goodness. Hope you're having a fun time watching the stream. Hope you're hanging out for a little while. We always appreciate when you do. As usual, we encourage you to take time from your life to donate and support to people who are less well off than you, or to things that you believe in, whatever you think that may be. I'm not going to preach to you and tell you what you should believe in, but in general, I would think that it's a pretty easy claim to understand that there are people in the world who are probably less well off than you, just by virtue of the fact that you're watching a stream on Twitch right now. That implies a certain degree of privilege. And if you are in that position and have a way of helping people who are less well off than you, whatever that may look like, be that donating time or money or resources or something, I think that is a good thing to do. And I want to encourage you to be the person who would do something like that within reason. Don't hurt yourself. A good piece of advice in general that was given to me once was look for people who are where you were about a year ago or a couple of years ago and try to find a way to support them. As you know, if you are a sophomore in college, then find a freshman. Seriously. If you're a freshman, find a senior from your old school and help them get into college or something like that. I don't know, whatever. Anything of that sort. So as usual, I just like to encourage people to do that, to be their best selves, and try to help the world, right? The world is a difficult place to be in. It's a difficult, being alive is hard for everyone. And if you can in any way, shape or form help people, then you are making it a less difficult place to be. And I think that is a beautiful thing. If you are liking our content, please follow our channel here. Check it out. We also have a YouTube channel called Sagas of the Shimmering Sea. It has nothing to do with this game, but you know, that's still the name of the YouTube channel, so you can go check that out as well. Additionally, we have shows on this channel 4 days a week. That's every Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. 3 of them are set in the same world, the Shimmering Sea, hence the Sagas of the Shimmering Sea. And the other one is this one, where we check out different RPGs regularly and try and figure out how they work and have a good time with them. So follow our channel, subscribe to our channel if you would like. We always appreciate it. It's great. And let's see. I normally have another thing that I say here, don't I, Marcus? I feel like I'm.
We're playing Beneath a Cursed Moon by Karius. I'm linking that now in the chat. Okay, cool.
Perfect. We are playing Beneath a Cursed Moon. This is a game by Karius. You can check them out on Twitter and or their itch.io account down there. And all that good stuff. They seem very cool, and this game is lots of fun and lots of cool flavors. So definitely worth checking out. Try to support them. Check out what they've made. Maybe they've made other cool things that you might be interested in as well. Be brave enough to try something that you've never tried before, particularly if you've only played one RPG or no RPGs. Start playing RPGs and or try a new one.
And never be afraid of the question, which one do I roll?
That is now our catchphrase.
I just thought of that.
That's really good. I like that.
I'm taking it.
On the
It's now
fly.
our catchphrase. We now have a catchphrase. Ash, thank you for improving everything that you touch. So
I do that.
you are beautiful, and I love it.
You're damn right I'm beautiful.
Fucking straight A. Okay.
Not straight at all, actually.
Well, sorry. That's totally... When I say straight A's, I'm a teacher. It's coming from a teacherly background, but my students used to call me out on that because I taught at a public arts high school in San Francisco.
Oh.
So no one was straight. I'm not straight for that matter. So, you know, take that for what you will.
Ooh, I gotta talk to you after the game about something possible coming up.
Feel free. I'm down. Okay. Well, all good things. All this. I wouldn't call this intro a good thing, but I would call Ash's catchphrase a good thing. But this thing that we are doing must come to an end, and we must return to the wonderful Marcus running the beautiful and terrifying Beneath a Cursed Moon.
Tell us about the stairs.
Yeah, so actually we'll open up from the last events that we just saw from the perspective of Moss and Lady Anne. You see M break a table leg, run down to the east wing, to the end of the east wing, in front of the trophy room that you all had just been investigating. You hear them stumble, or see them stumble. I think you could see them go in, and then you hear the sound of more glass breaking. You hear the squeal as the creature that M is doing battle with is presumably scorched by lanterns that the lanterns that M has taken off the wall. Do you all want to do anything about that?
Also, I will also point out you hear M yelling at the top of her lungs, fucking die over and over again.
That's right. So you hear all that.
Moss, do you want to take this one?
And then M walks out, closing the door.
Right. Yeah. However you all react, you see then retreat from the room, close the doors, put a
Very
leg through,
calmly closes the doors and puts the leg through.
and then
Love it.
if I'm not mistaken, you sprint back towards.
Yes, and then I run.
Yeah. So
Very
you see,
calmly.
you
Doors?
hear all that chaos, and then you see
Fucking
M
go.
running towards you.
Beautiful.
Fucking go, start the car, let's get.
M, you have gotten far enough away that the sounds of this monster screaming are now in the distance. But as you get further down, you hear the sound of a mass of flesh throwing itself against a wall, or against a door, rather, a set of doors. And you also hear the sound of erosion, of something corrosive eating away at something solid.
No. M immediately stops, looks extremely dejected, looks to Anne, looks to Moss. We gotta go back.
What did you
I
unleash?
was
I
hoping-
didn't unleash anything. Thanks.
Oh, M, you can tell me it's okay.
I didn't unleash anything, I think.
Sure.
It was there when I was getting there. I told you about the cracking. Just go kill it. I lit it on fire.
Yeah, so I calmly walk up the stairs, unruffled.
Okay. To be clear, the East Wing is on the same level that you all are on.
Okay.
That grand staircase is directly in front, so north, where the East Wing is east.
Got it.
Yeah. So so you head down the hall toward that wing, down that wing. As you approach, you also hear the same sounds. You hear the sound of flesh throwing itself against a set of doors. You hear the sound of wood corroding. And you see the doors to the East Wing bulging out, held for now by that leg that that M put through the handles, but giving way very, very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I want to. So, okay, there's this weird thing in the sorcery rules.
Mhm.
Let's see where it says the spells above should be taken as examples, and if you want to do something else, you should feel free to make up something else.
Yeah.
Is what it says. Cool. So infernal spells seem to have a lot of like fire and ice themes with them. So I want to like try and create a wall of ice to help barricade the door and prevent this thing from coming through.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. So roll combat sorcery, or I guess just infernal. Would that be for you?
It's the same thing.
Okay, perfect.
Combat sorcery is for me rolling infernal. And that's an 11.
So on a 10 to 12, your spell goes off no problem.
Mhm.
So a lot of these are in the range of doing 4 and 5 harm.
Mhm.
With this, I'll say it's able to take 4 or 5 harm. Does that feel fair?
Sounds good.
Okay.
So
So
delaying
you-
effect.
You freeze over the door. It had its own, it has its own health, its own amount of harm that it's able to take, and you've effectively doubled that. So the flexing of the doors stops, but the slamming sound does not. It now sounds like it's just against ice rather than wood, and that corrosive sound is also lessened, not dissipated, but it's quieter and it sounds more like melting now than corroding.
Em will start looking around for other tables and chairs and just start making a barricade.
Okay. Yeah, there's plenty. And they're well constructed enough that you wouldn't need a ton to be able to do it. And you're also strong, so you can get them over there relatively easily. I feel like that warrants a move, but I don't think anything applies. I'll say you just
Daring
add to
action,
the.
maybe.
Yeah. It can be daring action. I'll also say you can effectively do the same thing and add to the harm that this barricade can, that the ice and the door and the barricade can take altogether.
Mhm.
Is that do you like that, or do you prefer daring
No,
action?
I'll happily add to its harm.
Okay, so you have tripled it where Lady M doubled it, so it's in the realm of being able to take 15 harm. However
I
much
can
it's
take that
taken.
chance quickly.
However much it's taken to this point, you don't know, but it's holding.
This won't hold forever. Does anyone have any plans or ideas? Moss, do you know anything
There's
about this creature?
Well, what does it look like? I haven't even seen it.
Yeah, neither have I. That's
a
fair.
ball of flesh and bones and a lot of eyes.
So that might sound familiar to me because I know that I have a ritual where I can turn things into abominations. So maybe do I have any knowledge on that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it sounds like an abomination to you. I'll also let you roll lore, and then you'll take forward to it. I think, I guess +1, or one forward, if you want to roll lore. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a 10. Two questions. What is this creature capable of and weak to?
It is weak to fire. It is capable of emitting acid and corroding things, and it is capable of capturing things and incorporating them into its form, into its flesh.
Oh, okay. Don't get close to it. Oh, whoops, I went off the page. There's exactly what type of creature is it?
Yeah, so like I said, it's an abomination. Um, I think these things don't go by names in the conventional sense, but this creature, this abomination, uh, shows up enough in the visions that you get, uh, that you know it as consciousness made flesh. Like it has that name paired in whispers along with those visions that you've gotten of it. Um, yeah, so it is consciousness
Okay.
made flesh.
And you said take one forward?
Yeah, so the roll you would have had a +1 on it.
Oh, okay. So it's the same. Those are my two questions then.
Okay.
Okay. How powerful does this thing seem to be?
Um, Moss, you would know it's 15 powerful.
It's
It's
15
yeah,
powerful.
That's it. Fuck, I'll just go kill it right now.
you could.
Don't get
Has it
incorporated.
taken the additional fire damage every turn?
Yes. It
Nice.
so it has. Well, I mean, I guess Moss would know this, and then you could relay that to them. But it takes. Okay, so it has armor, but its armor against fire is only 1.
Mm.
Oh, so I was smart to use fire.
Oh yeah. That was
Awesome.
clutch.
That's so convenient. I like it.
Oh, I can shred that armor.
It
Yeah.
also has normal armor. Would it shred the fire?
So
would,
with there's the shred ability. Whenever you deal armor to a creature with armor using your claws and bites, its armor is reduced by 1 against attacks that don't bypass any of its armor until the end of the scene. So my claws don't bypass its armor unless it's silver. So if it's a werewolf, I wouldn't shred their armor because it bypasses already. But if this is like regular armor, I would shred that. Is how I'm interpreting that. That's
Okay.
still
Yeah,
your
that's
best
interesting.
Does that stack? Like, could you do it multiple times and get their armor down to 0?
I don't. This ability cannot reduce a creature's armor by more than 1.
Okay.
Is a little weird.
So I'll say, like, if you do shred their armor, it'll have 0 against fire, and then it's two. I guess because Moss would know its armor too. It would have 2 against all other damage instead of its usual 3. Like
That's.
it'll lower both.
And then since the fire is a bypassing, that would not be a fight in.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it'll just
so
be
it's like
the normal armor.
yeah. So if I was wearing like plate mail and had an armor of like 7, and werewolf happened and it shredded, that would
It's 6,
bring it
though.
down to 6 instead. Yeah, that was just a point. So bring it down to 6, and then my silver armor would still be 1.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that
Is it immune to acidic damage in any way? Would I know?
let me check. I didn't see that.
Since it does acid damage.
Yeah, it doesn't have that in its armor.
Can I roll knowledge? I actually think what I want to do is I want to like help other people, and I want to check out the knowledge combat moves, which we haven't used yet. So I'm just going to try that if that's okay.
Yeah, please do.
Cool. Well, I'm absolutely going to spend another hold to increase that to 7, and I'll take hold 2. And I can. Yeah, and I'm gonna provide Ash a +1 forward. Sorry, I'm gonna apply M. Sorry, I apologize. A +1 forward, saying, M. When it breaks through the ice, just take a stab at it right there.
Got it. Can I even see it? Has it made it through the doors yet?
It's made it through the ice.
Okay, so it's actually coming out now.
Yeah, so it's made it through the center of the ice. Like it's cracked to a degree, where the door itself is like not open, but it's cracked. It's cracked open. But parts of the ice are still holding tight, like on the sides where it hasn't been focusing its slams.
Okay.
So you can see it, but you don't have like a. At this point, you don't have access to.
Start getting to it. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys did a good job with the barrier.
And then M, when you roll this, let me know what you roll before we resolve it.
Yes. So I would like to. How much time do I have right now? Can I use my scrounged weapons ability to get like a pitchfork?
Absolutely, yeah. It's just like an improvised weapon, right? Or is it specifically a
No, it's like an
pitchfork or
actual
axe?
pitchfork or something like that.
Okay.
Something with that same ability style. So I can get my hands on a woodcutter's axe or a pitchfork.
Yeah, I'll say there's some decorative stuff that's sturdy enough that you could actually use it as a weapon.
Okay. I'd like to, if at all possible, get some old cloth, wrap it around the tip, douse it in some oil from one of those, from another lantern if there's one nearby, and light it and then throw it.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So cloth-wise, there's tapestries all over the place. This place is like a shenanigans. Like you can find stuff on the walls.
Is there something more like cotton or burlap?
Yeah, something that'll burn better. Yeah, maybe there's like a grain sack or something nearby.
Because people have come at him with pitchforks covered in the shit.
Oh, that's kind of sad. That's on brand.
If it won't burn very well, then I'll just use Hellfire to light it. Just to be clear.
That's even better. But yeah, I'll try to do it. Actually, what does your Hellfire do? What's its?
Let's see what we got here. 4 harm close is what it is if I do it on me, but on something else probably less than that. Probably like an additional 2 or 3 harm. I would guess. I don't know. It's up to our wonderful MC.
It doesn't state what happens when you use it for other people.
It doesn't give me that option, but spells are allowed to be done in multiple ways. So
yeah, I'm comfortable with it being 4.
Cool, great.
So it put the damage up to 4 on the pitchfork.
So, yeah. What is it normally?
The pitchfork is a 3 harm, and then putting the fuel on it, I was imagining it'd still be that 3 harm plus an additional 1 per turn for the oil, the fire I was putting on.
Oh, you mean not the Hellfire, like the normal oil?
The health, yeah, that's what I was imagining. It's the 3, then plus 1 each time, and then whatever the Hellfire does.
Oh, you want to do all 3, or both? You want to do both? You want to wrap it, light it? Okay, yeah. That will take some time, and I don't know that you have that much. So I'm gonna say it'll take a daring action to get to the closest lantern. The cloth you can find fine, but the closest lantern it'll take a second to get to, and then it'll take a moment for Lady Anne to get the Hellfire going.
Sounds good. Yeah. I will then, as we're doing that, as we've made this decision, I'll go to the hybrid form so I can throw it further, which will also give me a +1 to my daring action. And do we still have a +1 forward from this?
Yeah, for me. Yes, you still have a +1.
So I got a 3, so that's a total of 8. Daring action on an 8, I believe, is composite attacks, but something bad happens as well.
Okay.
So what do we light on fire in the room next to us?
You don't light
That's-
anything on fire. You get oil on your fur. You're hybrid form right now, right?
I am a hybrid, yes.
Are your forearms or hands furry?
I'm. You know how the transition phase in like the werewolf movies. I'm that. I'm like that tall, lanky version. Is how I'm imagining the werewolf.
Okay, so your fur isn't like full on werewolf, like full coat of fur, but it's
Not
there.
necessarily, yeah.
Okay, so you get an amount of oil on your hands, but you also successfully wrap the spear or what was it, pitchfork?
So
In
that's
cloth.
harm to the damage. So that'd be the taking 1 or 2 harm.
Oh, something bad happens in terms of like a mechanic. I
Yes,
see.
something mechanically bad happens. So, drop, lose, destroy, or use up an important item, possibly oil. End up in a bad position, taking -1 forward until I recover. Take 1 or 2 harm. Burning hands. Draw attention to yourself that you didn't want to. Probably not necessary here. Take more time than you expected.
Yeah.
So 3 of those would be very applicable with how you described it already.
Yeah, I'll say.
Kinda like harm. It feels like when you light it on fire, you can still throw the thing. But I like the well, sorry.
No. I actually like that too.
Yeah,
So like I
go.
said, you get oil on you, and then when you light the torch, you also light your hand. So yeah, it'll be 1 harm.
Got it. Current harm goes up to 2. And since I'm already wolfed out, don't need a roll of control.
Cool. But you now have a pitchfork that is on fire, and Lady Anne is that a infernal sorcery?
Sure. Yeah. I'll
Is that how
Pardon me.
hellfire works?
Yes, it can be. Yes, that is exactly how it works.
Okay.
I'll roll an 8, which means that it goes off without a hitch, but I don't get any bonuses.
Awesome.
Oh no, sorry, I suffer a drawback.
Ritual. No. Combat sorcery. drawbacks.
Yeah, let's see. Suffer 1 harm, which would make sense here. Use too much dark magic. Also target a creature you didn't want to. Put yourself in a bad position. Or take too long to cast. Expose yourself to danger.
I get to
Makes the
choose,
only
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna choose you target a creature you didn't want to. I don't think that you full on target the Hellfire on M, but I think you do another harm to M, while still successfully lighting the or enchanting.
You
with
light the
fire.
other hand on fire.
Yep.
You know,
and the
there's
time that
a lot of fire flying around here. It's difficult to see what's going on.
Yeah. In
Well,
the
I'm
time that
sorry
it takes
about
all
that,
to do that, the door cracks a little bit further. A tentacle shoots out, and it's like slapping against the sides, trying to find something.
So would I now be able to melee it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna throw the pitchfork and then start charging in, and with my hands on fire, I'm gonna start clawing.
Well,
I'm gonna use this harm to my advantage. 'Cause
Okay.
it's on fire.
one hand is on fire. I'll say that. The other one, I think,
The brimstone hand?
Yeah, the one harm that you took the first time was like not so much that it stayed. Otherwise, you would take one ongoing.
So I'll
but
take ongoing
yeah.
harm for this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not for the other one. For the other one, I'm just saying that it's like recent enough that it's still on fire, but you're not going to take more harm. Like the 1 harm was it, but it's still on fire.
Nope.
For this attack, and then right after it'll be gone pretty much. So the pitchfork does 3 normally.
Just 3 normally.
And then 1 for the normal fire, and then 4 for the hellfire.
So an 8 total.
Okay, so
5 of which is fire.
yeah,
A lot of fire.
It ignores 3 because its armor is 3. And it takes 5, and its fire armor is only 1. Okay, so yeah, okay.
So it'll take 3 fire damage, I think.
Yeah, so you
No, it take 4.
4, yeah. You toss this. Actually, okay. I don't want to make you roll battle for the pitchfork thing because it's cool and I want it to happen. But you will have to roll battle for the claw.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do that.
One. Okay, so I am.
But the
wolfed out, I
pitchfork
believe
lands spot on. It hits it in one of its eyes and maybe another errant little tiny one.
Awesome. And since I'm wolfed out, I get a +1 to that, so I have a +4 total to my battle, which is a lot. So that's a 10, so I get 2. I will deal harm to it, obviously, which will also shred its armor down to 1 because of the shred ability, which I will post here again.
Does that take effect after? Like, do you think
That is an immediate.
Okay.
So whenever you deal harm to a creature with armor using claws and bite,
Okay, so its armor is effectively 2 now.
his arm is now 2.
Okay.
It does the fire damage as well, since you said we were adding fire damage to that, right?
Yeah, that'll be 1 though. Or actually, I'll say it's
That's-
2 because the lanterns do 2, and then
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't take any.
Okay, so that's 2 fire damage plus my 5 harm, which is also shredding armor down. So it's ignoring 2 of that, so it's 5 damage again.
Yeah,
Two
4
of-
actually.
One of which is fire, then 4 standard.
It's 5 standard, so 3, and then the fire is 2, and it has 1 armor for fire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So there we
so
go.
it's 4. And then, oh man, okay.
And then
it does not look well.
Second,
Yeah.
battle choice, I will throw it off balance, giving my allies each a +1 forward against it.
Awesome. Yeah, so both Lady Anne and Moss have 1 forward. It is shrieking again. Just from you can tell that your attacks have done like a good amount as well. But the amount of fire that you're lobbing at this thing, and its weakness to fire is you're super effective, in so many words.
Does it do harm back to M?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
Cool.
Um,
Awesome.
It is still that tentacle that managed to make its way out is still slapping along the outside of the door, trying to grab onto something.
Mm.
And M, I'm gonna say you're close enough now that it will be able to if nobody does anything.
Yeah.
But also, the barricade is still held well enough that it hasn't made its way all the way through. So it's working with just 1 tentacle right now. Lady Anne, Moss,
Moss?
anything y'all want to do?
I'm deciding between 2 things. So if you want to go first, Lady Anne.
You both can tell that it's now trying to grab M.
Yeah. How's it looking? Is it fine?
Not well at all. It's you're not familiar with this creature's biology, but you can tell that it's got stuff in the wrong places, even though it already had stuff in the wrong places. You know, like stuff is spilling out and burst and slashed and burned.
Cool. I'm just gonna throw I'm gonna throw a fiery blade at this.
Cool. That sounds like a combat sorcery.
Yep. Specifically the infernal type. Well, I'll just roll a 15.
16 because you have a +1.
16
that's
because I
right.
have a +1. That's excellent. On a 13 plus, your spell goes off to a drawback, and you get to choose an additional benefit from the combat spell benefits. Cool. You take, keep an eye on, you draw your opponent's attention for a second. Let's see. I'm gonna do. Ooh, you said the tentacle is drawing close to M.
Yes.
Trying to grab
Yeah,
me.
I'm gonna draw my opponent's attention to me and away from M, with my additional combat effect. So I'm gonna do five fire damage at ranged, and then I'm gonna draw its attention to me so that it won't get M.
You described the spell a little bit. You said it was like a flame, like a blade.
Yeah, so I think it's like God, I'm almost seeing, this is weird or silly or something, but I'm almost seeing like the old Fantasia Disney cartoon where Zeus is throwing lightning bolts at people, except that it's fire.
A firebolt, but a spear of fire.
Yeah, a spear of fire.
Awesome. So yeah, the door has cracked enough from the force being thrown against the barricade that y'all have made by this creature, that you can see its face. It's not really a face, but it's a mass of eyes. And you hurl this spear of fire through it. It goes through its form, through its larger eye, and through the other side of its head or its mass. It ceases throwing its body against the wall, against the barricade, and that tentacle that was reaching for M starts to reach for you, and then goes limp, and the rest of the creature goes limp as well. And it's dead.
Well,
We're good this time.
Bracing.
Em doesn't believe the "for good this time" that she just heard in her head, so he's gonna go find another lantern and just smash it on it, make sure it's burning.
Darling.
Hmm?
I don't
Holding
think
a
that's
lantern,
necessary.
about to.
don't think that's strictly speaking necessary.
Does it anyway,
Yeah, just let her have this.
Sure, of course, fair enough.
and then walks away.
Are you doing
And-
okay, Em?
Did I take any additional harm? I'm at 3. Let me see.
Just one, right? Oh, are you at 3? I thought you were at 2.
I already had one before that,
Right, yeah.
and that's what I was asking about earlier, and I believe you said it was still there because I had taken like 3 or 4 harm the previous time.
And you were the only one that had any at this point, right? Everyone else patched up?
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
I'm injured by one.
Oh, you have one too? Okay.
Yeah.
Since the immediate threat is gone, I will just go back to human form.
Yeah, I'll take a moment to patch up.
Okay, so you're down to no harm.
Yep.
Moss, you have no harm?
I will do a patch up.
Okay, and then Greta will also help patch you up. So you're back down to 1, is that right?
So I reduce 1. Greta reduces 1.
Mhm.
Then yes, I'm down to 1 again.
Okay. Yeah, like you said, the imminent threat is taken care of. I
So
think...
I don't need to patch up, but while they're patching up, is there any mechanic that would let me help them patch up more?
Yeah, patch up actually. It allows you to do it for other people too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I will spend my time helping M reduce her harm by another point.
I'm
Do
no
you
longer bleeding.
do you use first aid or do you use like magic of some sort?
Yeah, I could use necromancy, why not?
We got a little false life going.
Yeah.
Like it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, so this massive flesh kind of it behaves as if it has like a singularity at its center. It collapses back into the form, now without clothes, having torn them away in transforming, is the body of Harlock Graves. I think he has, or they have vestigial eyes at this point that have seared, closed, and the rest of their body just appears ruins. Not like a bloody mess, but it's gone through a lot, obviously. But it lays there limp.
Awesome. And we'll sit down in a chair and take a breather.
Well deserved.
I feel as if we are reacting to things that are coming at us. And while that's perfectly reasonable, I do feel as if we should have some more direct form of action. This is Vlad's plan. Should we be hunting Vlad? Should we be... is that... I feel a little ridiculous speaking like that, but are we in a position where that is what we should be considering?
Point me somewhere and I'll kill it.
I expected no more from you. Moss?
I think we should make sure we stop the ritual so we don't have to deal with Vlad and a dragon.
There's something rather apocalyptic about a vampire lord on the back of a dragon, isn't there?
Yeah, so let's nip that one in the bud.
Do you know where this ritual might take place? Any thoughts? Who would be performing it? What we would need to do? Is it Vlad himself performing the ritual?
I'm just points to the roof.
Ah, yes. He is a sucker for the classics, isn't he? It's either the roof or the catacombs, right?
Emil, start sniffing.
What are you looking for? And do you want to hunt for it?
Yes, I want to do a hunt, I think, to go find the person. I'll transform to wolf to do this.
The other person, the stately
yes,
masculine.
the one we were originally started following.
So you know for sure where they are. You can roll again, but I honestly don't know what else I could give you, because you did so, like, you did well enough that you know where they went, but you haven't seen the location.
That, yeah. And I'll just point out the direction and say, "Let's go."
Yeah, that would be the West Wing, opposite the trophy room.
Okay.
I relayed the information.
Away from the trophy room to the West Wing.
Awesome. The design of this side of the palace is largely the same. The decorations vary slightly, but they are all of the same theme. They're gold. They evoke images of divine locales, clouds, cherubs, etc. Um, making your way to the West Wing, the doors to the building at the end of this and at the end of this uh, side of the palace are exactly the same, decoration and all, to the trophy room doors. Um, assuming you open them, I don't want to.
Yeah, I think I stand back, and the winning formula seems to have you in front, dear.
Em will listen at the door. Does she hear anything?
You hear the shuffling of feet.
Similar to the people in the other room?
Mm-hmm. You would guess so, yeah. You also hear the
Were
sound
they
of
people or zombies that we ignored,
uh,
or we don't know, or we didn't invest, we didn't interrogate the fiction, so we don't know.
no, they were people. I feel like you would have encountered zombies before, even though you're like monster hunters essentially. Yeah, so they were people, but they were off. Like there was something wrong with them. But yeah, you hear that shambling, and then you hear the sound of dense, dense-ish but muffled objects being stacked upon each other, every so often. Not regularly, but here and there.
Em will slowly open the door this time.
Okay. As you crack it open, you see a reception area, a desk. At the desk, you see a skeleton reclined in a chair. Behind it, past that, you see a library. You see stacks of books, or racks of books, shelves of books that resemble the old library before most of it was destroyed back at the Institute.
Em will look around, sniff the air. Is the scent in this room or is it further out?
Oh, the scent of your mark.
Yes.
It is. It is in this room. Yeah.
How far away, roughly?
Um. So the last roll you got for the hunt, I'll say that got you them being in the room. If you want to know where, that's another, I think. Or unless you rolled again. Did you roll a second hunt for
No,
them?
I was about to actually.
Okay. Yeah. So.
I just accidentally closed my book.
Okay.
Apparently, so I need to go find it real quick.
God, this
So
song
this will be a
rules.
hunt.
Yeah.
What rules?
This song, Runes of Bonehill, is that it?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I like that all.
So hunt, so thriller. I just need to double check a moment.
Mhm.
If my beast without gives me the +1 to senses. It does, perfect.
Cool.
So I got a +3 to it, so that'll be a that's an 8, which I do believe means we spot each other. Or you
Oh,
find who
really?
you're looking for is too late. Yes.
Okay, this time you just spot each other. I don't think you know what their objective is. Oh, actually, no, you do. They're looking for a tome. But it's not too late. They are still looking for it. But you see them relatively close to the front, not further back like Graves had been. But they are frantically flipping or scanning the shelves looking for something. Um, yeah, so yeah, you see them. And they see you.
And we'll slowly move towards unthreatening.
Yeah, they think so too, so they run.
No, unthreatening. Emma's like trying to slowly approach. Like
Oh, non-threatening, okay. Are you in hybrid form or human?
No, I'm human right now.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, yeah, so they're still scanning these shells. They're doing that thing where you like pull a few out just to check the cover and everything,
Yeah.
and then slotting them back in. But they're trying to do that frantically as they notice your approach. Um, but they don't leave. They're still looking.
And we'll ask if she can assist in helping them find something.
They take a rather large book and they throw it at your head.
I'll dodge it. Say that was a bad move. Full wolf run.
Okay. Yeah, they're trying to run too. Moss, Lady Anne, you got anything?
We could just talk, rather than.
Oh, it's already begun.
Can you stop them again? Do you have that ability?
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and cast a spell here.
Emma's already running.
An 8. What does that mean? A drawback?
So this is going to be Emma's going to try to grab the leg and rip them back to the party.
Cool. That'll be a battle, I think.
Okay,
So,
and in Wolf, so I get a +1 ongoing.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm bringing them.
Yeah.
I do not do harm. I will just
Grapple,
force
essentially.
the opponent to a position I want.
Okay. So you could get the same thing going that you had with Graves, where you all are at either end of the aisle, and they're trapped in the middle.
I was gonna grab her leg and pull her back all the way to the party.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Pull him.
and after M does that, I guess my spell goes off where I will hold them in place, but I suffer a drawback.
Okay. Is it the tentacle thing again? Cool. Let me look at the drawbacks here. It was a combat sorcery, I assume?
Yeah, combat sorcery.
Because last time you said, let's not kill this one, and after that flesh creature, I was like, let's not.
You also target a creature you didn't want to. Sorry, what'd you say?
Sorry, I said... M said that after last time, let's not kill this one. Seems like a good idea. And I said, I might kill this one.
As long as if it's sacrificial, it's okay.
Mhm.
M's not going to tear its fucking throat out.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not going to tear their throat out.
So yeah, I'll let you choose actually. Lady Anne or M.
Oh god.
Also get wrapped up.
Makes sense for M.
It does.
I like
Yeah.
yeah.
So funny. No, okay, yeah.
Okay. Does it look like have you lost control of the forces that you're bringing forth here, and they grab M, or is it purely like a miscalculation of like distance or something like that?
I think that'd be interesting. Yeah, maybe I lose control for a little bit. I don't usually do so much spell casting in a day.
Sure, yeah. So there's a surge of power that you maybe have not adjusted to, and additional tentacles manifest, wrap themselves around the stately gentleman and M, restraining both of them.
Wolf M lets out a yelp and a howl.
Oops.
Oh, calm down. You can take a little bit of wet octopus tentacle or whatever. Are you okay, dear Moss? You seem a little tired.
It's fine. I'm just not used to this, but sorry.
So, given that M is a rather large wolf when transformed, would you say M's wolf form is larger than her human form?
Oh yeah, yeah.
She'll turn human and try to crawl out of the tentacles.
Okay. That might be a daring action. Also, it's magic, so I feel like they might just adjust. You know.
It might just be it might be resist dark magic.
Oh, actually, yeah, that makes sense. Let me look at it.
We haven't rolled yet.
We haven't.
Sorry.
No.
Straight roll, let's go. You can ward away minions like skeletons or imps.
Yeah, this would be more resist dark influences. And these influences are in a sense dark, I guess, despite being wielded by one of our heroes.
We'll let you out in a minute, M. It's fine. You can wait there.
Wiggle, just
It'll
wiggling.
go away in
No
just a second.
luck. The roll was bunk.
The roll was a 9. If it's resist dark magic, that is, you can ward away minor minions like skeletons or imps. I don't know if that applies because I'm not seeing where the.
Yeah,
magic.
It doesn't specify like forces outside of creatures. I'll say it doesn't though, because that's fun. Um, yeah, so you're still restrained.
And
I
we'll
think you
wiggle
do
for a solid
successfully.
minute.
I think you do successfully get to your human form, but the tentacles adapt and tighten. Um, so you have both of them restrained still. Um, Lady Anne, you hear something familiar. You hear the evocation of infernal names and titles coming from this restrained dapper
Ooh,
gentleman.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do I know how to like interrupt that or anything like that? Is there anything like that?
Yeah, I think
Inherently?
that might actually be a resist dark magic too, but it's not. It's not
Mhm.
exact. Do you think anything else would work better?
Uh, resist dark magic works for me. I'm fine with that.
Okay. You have any points in that? Just out of curiosity.
I have +2 because I took a level up in it.
Hey, nice. Yeah, go ahead and roll that then.
Or I took an ability that gives me resist dark magic too. 7. So that's a partial success. Fuck. Well, by the same extent that we just played for M, that probably does something to me then, right?
Yeah. Well, not to you, but it's not. It's not a
Me
perfect
again.
success. Yeah. No. So this spell that you're interrupting, once you get a feel for it, and once you like know it well enough to try to interrupt it, you know is a conjuration. Um, in an area behind you, a ways, this spellcaster you now know, probably a warlock like you, has conjured forth um, a number of gargoyles. Uh, but you interrupt. You interrupt as the spell is going off, and only two manage to get through, and a third gets its head lopped off as the portal closes before it's able to make its way through. But there are now two gargoyles behind you. Well, they're gargoyles in game stat terms, but they are the larger imps that you had fought before. I think you fought one of them in outside of the forest when we first started. Yeah.
Fought implies there was,
Yeah.
some back and forth.
Yeah. That you
Not a wholesale
massacred.
slaughter. There we go.
Yeah,
Sure.
earlier.
Yeah. Well, I'm more concerned about the warlock. So I'm gonna look at Moss and say, can you deal with them? And then walk up to the warlock and pull out my sacrificial dagger and hold it to
Ooh.
his throat.
Okay. Oh, you're just holding it to him.
Yeah.
Do you have a name here?
Do I have a name?
Aim. Intent.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my intent is to. Let's see. What is my intent? I mean, my intent was to interview this fool and gain more information rather than just kill him.
Hmm?
So I guess I'm getting him. I'm like saying, don't summon more people, or I will slit your throat and sacrifice you to my dark god, who will then grant me power in exchange for this. So this is probably a good deal for me.
He knows you're not bluffing, being of the same sort of spellcaster that you are. Just to be clear, do you want to interview, or do you just want to? I guess it could be convinced too if you're trying to get him not to summon anything else.
Yeah, I'd prefer to interview.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
But I can understand if that's not like if this isn't the time. Like if me holding this up means that Moss has to deal with the gargoyles while I'm threatening this person so that he doesn't cause more problems. That's fine by me too. It's your call. Or if does he have control over the gargoyles? Like by holding the dagger there, does this stop the problem? Or
they're loyal. They're not controlled. Like he
Okay.
doesn't choose what they do. Yeah. I feel like you
Okay.
would know conjuration well enough to just know that. Yeah.
Sure.
You could do an interview mid combat because we're pretty much in combat now. You could
Yeah.
also do knowledge. I think interview fits the
Yeah.
situation more, but knowledge makes sense too. So you could do either.
Well, fortunately, they're the same thing. But I'll do
Mhm.
interview.
Okay.
Oh, they're not. They're almost the same. I'll take an 11. That feels good to me.
2 questions.
Yeah. What is let's see. So I'll take my let's see. What do I get 2 questions. There's no one where I get hold. Okay. Um what is this person hiding from me?
Mm. They also have a list. They yeah, they keep like fidgeting with what little movement they have. They keep fidgeting and touching a coat pocket, and it's crinkling, and you determine that they have a list too of things that they are after.
Yeah, I quickly grab that list and take a quick glance at it.
Cool. One sec. Yeah. Okay. So, it has scrawled on it in the same handwriting as the last note on the same type of parchment. A series, three series of letters and numbers that aren't important to you. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Followed by keywords. Those words being divine, conjure, and souls.
Mm. Okay. I'm going to ask my free question. What does this person feel most guilty of?
Hmm. Same thing as Graves, actually.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're like embarrassed to have been caught. Not just ashamed or guilty, but it's beneath them.
Yeah.
Where Graves was just guilty.
Zealots. And are there any inconsistencies with this list, or that would change thing that would change like my perception of the rituals that we're looking at here?
No, they're perfectly consistent. Um, you know that the ritual is meant to summon something divine, but in the sense that it predates like the demonic, um, despite being of the same line, pretty much. Um, you know that it's a conjuration.
Yep. So
And
this is fitting perfectly with my image of like they want to summon a dragon. This dragon is like weird and creepy and not what I'm used to in the world.
Yeah.
The divine applies to the dragon just as much as the everything else.
And the souls is, you would know it's a component pretty much. Like you need souls the same way you need sacrifices to do anything magical.
Sounds good to me. Great. Those are my two questions, and yeah, that's. I think I'm relatively happy with that. I kind of want to sacrifice him, but there's no way that'll get me more hold than I currently have. I think, or the odds are very low that'll get me more hold than I currently have. So I probably shouldn't sacrifice this person.
Okay. I think you're trapped until Moss does something else, effectively dropping focus on the spell that they've cast.
It only lasts for a turn either way.
Oh, is it a turn? Okay.
Yeah.
So it drops, and then Moss and you're open to another action.
So, having fought imps before, you said these are bigger. Do we have an idea of how much harm they take? They hold?
Yeah, having fought them before, pull up a stat block here.
They could take like 3 or 4.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
M was like ripping them apart with one go.
Yeah, the actual imps took like 2. The gargoyle took 10. Yeah. Given that you fought one before, I won't put that behind. I feel like it's pointless to put it behind a lore roll.
Okay.
For M's action, I would like for her to conjure her claws, grab the guy's shoulder, and like flip on top of him, holding him down.
Currently, Lady M has a throat. Has her sacrificial dagger to his throat. I'm assuming with his back to you, to your front. So you wanna tear him out of Lady Anne's grasp?
No, I'm like flipping on top of him to do that. I'm not like going in to change up her ordeal. I'm like helping her restrain.
My mental image is that you're flipping on top of his shoulders, which would be effectively right next to Lady Anne's shoulders. So you're like,
I love it.
Shoulder to shoulder. Let's do it.
That is what you're doing.
Side, bongo to bongo.
Actually, that's kind of also what I imagine. I was imagining Lady Anne like at the front, holding the dagger backwards to his throat.
Oh, and you'd be behind him. You want to flank him?
Yes, effectively.
Okay. Unless you want to do harm, I feel like you just do that.
No intention to do harm unless those gargoyles get closer.
Well, they are approaching.
How are
But
they
they
like?
haven't reached you.
Are they approaching with like lethal intent?
Mm-hmm.
M knows nothing of magic, so she'll hold claws ready.
Who are they approaching?
All
All
of us.
three of you. Yeah.
Okay. We're all in the same kind of area.
So the mental image I have now is Lady Anne holding her blade to this man's throat. M on the other side, but facing the gargoyles with claws out. Is that right? And then,
Yep.
Moss, did you want to do something?
Yeah. Don't think my sleep spell will work here, but let's try something else.
No, I learned from last time.
Oh no, that's a 6.
Oh no.
Oh,
is that one drawback?
Sorry.
Yeah, please.
What's your intent here?
Me?
Yeah.
I
Moss.
was going to cause some harm.
Yeah. Let's see. This is to my benefit or in my assistance, correct?
It's benefiting you in that,
It's harming my enemies.
yeah.
Awesome. Then I would like to spend one of my hold to give her a +1 on that roll.
So it's a 7 to 9 now.
Okay. So still a drawback, but 3 harm. It's acidic mist. It ignores armor.
Okay. I don't know if they even have armor. Let me check. No armor. Oh no, they totally do. It ignores armor, you said?
Yeah.
And it does 3 harm. Okay, I assume it targets one. So yeah, you do 3 harm to one of them.
Does it a target one, or does it? Sorry, this is the.
Sorry, does it what?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, yes, you're right. Target, totally right. Totally right.
Yes. Is that? All 3 of you acted, right? I don't want to cut anyone off.
I interview. Yeah, no, I used interview.
Right,
yeah.
the interview. Okay.
Yeah.
M is holding for the gargoyles to get much closer, and then she'll run and go for him.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So the one that gets acid sprayed at its reels a little bit, and it doesn't stop its approach, but it takes a second to gather itself. But the remaining, the other gargoyle approaches you, given that you seem the most ready to defend yourself, and it tries to claw at you.
I will attack back.
All right. Let's
There was
swap some
also-
harm.
There was also a drawback
Yeah.
for my spell.
Oh yeah, totally. My bad.
Yeah, not
let me
to.
see
I
here.
mean, I'd love if we didn't do it, but to be fair.
Would it be all right if, as M was slipping on top of the guy, she went half wolf hybrid?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Moss, I'll say you suffer 1 harm. The acid splashes back a little bit, and it ignores armor.
M gets a 13, so that's choose 3.
Oh my god.
Instead of thinking, oh, I could help her with this. No,
No
I
need.
cannot.
So I
No
will
need.
deal harm to it.
Okay.
That'll shred.
okay,
Is the
one sec.
other one? What's all within my reach right now?
So the one that is unharmed is within your reach. The other one has stopped its approach for now, but it'll approach later. After
Would you
this,
say
pretty
it's
much.
all? Could I get into a position where they're both in reach for me?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. And if any of my allies are in reach, I will, using part of my rampage ability, make it so I am not hurting them, but I will hurt everybody else, dealing 5 harm, which will then also shred. So reduces
both
their
of them?
armor by 1.
Okay. 1 sec.
And I'm going to burn the additional 2 harm, those additional 2 choices onto harm. So 7 harm plus damage shred to 2.
God damn. Okay. So 1 already took 3. Jesus. You said it was 7 each, right?
7 each,
Okay.
and it shreds. So their armor goes down by 1.
Okay, perfect. 1 is on death's door. The other one is badly hurt by your claws. Lady Anne or Moss, did you want to do anything?
Moss, I'll leave it to you.
All right, the one that is on death's door. Let's try
Flick it.
some.
Let's flick it real hard.
Yeah, let's try some necromancy here. I got a +2 to that, so even 12. So I'm going to drain this imp's soul for 2 harm, ignores armor, so I can heal 1 harm from myself.
Nice.
Cool. You're back to 0 harm, and my headcanon is that it withers away. But is there something that you want it to do? That you want the spell to do to it, like visually?
Oh.
Yeah, I think it disintegrates and then just kind of blows away in the wind. There's no wind, but I create wind.
Yeah. So the remains, the powdered remains of this gargoyle blow past its friend, past its companion, and past the warlock that you all have captured. I actually neglected to do something for him for his turn. So he is again under his breath this time, trying to evade your notice, Lady Anne, incanting those names, those infernal names.
I'm just gonna sacrifice this fucker.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah, please try.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could resist, but I'd rather I have my knife at his throat.
That makes
He's
sense
literally
to me.
vibrating against my dagger. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna silence him in the easiest way that I can, just by going left to right, right across.
Is that a battle or something? Yeah. How does that work?
I mean, it's so narratively speaking, the rules say that if I'm in this situation, I can it's the GM's call whether I can sacrifice this person or not. It's sort of like the equivalent of succering someone in other games, right? They are at my mercy.
Yeah.
But if you want it to be a battle move, I can. The ritual dagger does have damage, does have battle. If you feel that this is battle.
Yeah, he's gonna resist enough that it's gonna warrant a battle, and then if you hit, it's game on. He's sacrificed.
Sounds good to me. Okay, I will roll battle. Oh God, wish me luck. And I'm gonna spend my last to make that a. I'm gonna spend my last hold that I have to make that a 10.
Okay.
You only needed the 1. You didn't need to do that.
Oh, you're right, and I'm not going to
because you got to choose one.
Yes, you're right.
Unless he gets more than choose one, I think.
No, I'm happy with that. Yeah. So I yes. So that's a 9. How does that work out for me, Marcus?
So you choose one, but also I'm kind of questioning how I'm resolving this because he needs to die for you to sacrifice him, right?
True.
Okay, so if you can do enough harm that he dies, you can sacrifice him.
Okay. Well, then I'm definitely not going to do enough harm yet. Let me.
How much do
look
you
at
do?
my options.
Just to. Okay.
Let's find out.
The dagger's harm, I think, is like 3.
Yeah, mine is. Sorry, ritual dagger. Let's see what we got here. Ritual knife, 3 harm, iron close. Blah 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 blah. Oh, it counts for my sacrifice ability. Oh, Sorry, hold on one second.
No, please, yeah.
Opponent of bounds, take an item, draw an opponent, you break free of your opponent's grasp, force an opponent into a position you want. I am going to spend that extra thing to make it a 10, and I'm going to do 4 harm to this person.
Awesome. So I think you're stabbing a warlock with a sacrificial dagger. This is like your kin. And I think I think it wouldn't just be mundane. I think you wouldn't just stab them, but at least visually or aesthetically there would be some reaction. I know when you sacrifice, there's some like things appear on your skin. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I always wear long sleeves and all that good stuff, and a high collar neck.
So he doesn't, and you can see, I think that whatever markings he had on his skin, signifying hold pretty much, but signifying some withheld infernal power that he's amassed, starts to dissipate, starts to fade when you do this harm to him. But he still has a number of markings left on his skin. And I also think we have to end there. Because
Yeah.
we go to 9:30, right?
Typically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we have that image of
Let's
Lady
finish the
Anne
combat.
shaking. We won't. Like it won't end like within the next 5 minutes.
Hmm.
Because
Okay.
it's up to his turn and he's gonna summon again. So
Mm.
y'all have some more stuff coming. We can end on that
Another-
though.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
We can end on a
Yeah,
portal opening up.
yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, a portal opens up. 2 more gargoyles come out. And yeah, we'll stop it right there.
Pathetic.
Emma's smiling.
Beelzebub expects better from his servants than this paltry excuse of summoning. Okay.
I think he spit some stuff back about worshiping the lesser princes of hell or something.
Well, you've got to
Asmodeus is
think
better,
of his
yeah.
response.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, we're not doing the whole critique thing this time, right?
We can, if we want to, but we can. It could be more of a critique of your GMing if you like.
Oh yeah. I actually did want to do that. Yeah, whoever's like comfortable with like that sort of thing, feel free.
I'll start off and say immediately huge improvement from last time.
Yeah.
Like you definitely seem much more comfortable rolling with the punches
Yeah.
here, and you definitely feel like it feels like you figured out the flow a bit more of the game.
I
So I
have
don't
to
know
shout
how
out
much-
Matt for that because Matt suggested reading the GM moves portion of the
Yeah.
powered by the Apocalypse World, and then how moves are supposed to cascade and stuff. That helped immensely. So yeah, that's shouting
Good
out
help.
for that one.
Yeah.
Really.
Thanks, Brad.
I think you've gotten better at not exactly the opposite of what I'm doing. Saying what you're thinking and like describing the situations definitely seem to have gotten better between the two.
Yeah.
I was less confused in certain situations. I was still confused at times because I'm dumb.
Hey, me too.
But in the good way. I'm dumb in the good way. So you can definitely tell there's you're putting more time into this. You're putting more
Yeah, I feel a lot
of
more
you
comfortable.
into it. And I definitely I like it. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, do you have thoughts?
I mean, I'm not really great at critiques, but I mean, I agree. I felt like it ran a lot smoother, and you seemed a lot more confident. So I think that was huge.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Matt, I'm
Yeah.
hoping you will tear into me, please.
Oh God. Okay, well, I'm not going to.
Well, he's
because
not M.
I want to start by
Right.
saying that everything that Ash just said is 100% true. This is like it's just the improvement is delicious and wonderful and fun to play. So it's great in all senses. I think that right now we are in a situation where we collectively are too powerful. But it's not
Possibly.
because the game is making us powerful. It's because I think that you should be exploiting our weaknesses more.
Yes.
Yeah, the silver stuff for M, and I actually don't. I had that thought, and the obvious thing is the silver stuff for M, but for you two, Lady Anne and Moss, I'm actually not sure. I get the sense that your weakness is just being hit, like you aren't meant to be like damage sponges like M is. But beyond that, yeah, I'm not really sure.
M is not a damage sponge. She
Yeah.
is
Is she
100%
not?
DPS. No, she only has like
Okay,
2
sure.
armor.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And
I would also add to that, like a lot of the best consequences are like the actual restrictions that are like the actual tags that describe the things that we're doing, right? If we're trying to cast something, if we're trying to use ranged things, then being close to us literally means we cannot do that effectively. And by vice versa, right? M is like going to be able to like mechanically the way the game works, right? If M can get into melee with Dracula or with God, M can kill God, right?
M will kill God.
M will
No
kill God.
can.
Yeah, right. And so from that perspective, like you have to make it increasingly difficult for M to get into melee, right?
Yeah. Okay.
M's moves are close, right? So have people far away, they can shoot things, right? Have someone with bullets shooting at M or crossbow bolts or something like that, or magic at a distance, right? And then as M is trying to get into range, like Ash is doing the right thing. Ash is saying, I charge towards range, I charge towards them and attack. and your response is okay, roll battle, which we all know M's gonna win because M is a plus fucking 4 or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Your
When I
response should
am-
actually be, oh, well, you're trying to charge in, but actually there's these components that are making it a problem, so we need to have a daring action before you can charge in. And
Yes.
and
You're playing the battlefield to our favor.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes perfect sense.
right.
Yeah.
I like to point out the age-old adage of the enemies want to win.
Mhm.
At times, it doesn't necessarily they want to, but they're not making it a priority.
The resistance isn't there.
Yeah, there's not that.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, that's a fucking werewolf running at me. I need to throw sludge or something at the ground. It's
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
werewolf.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's brilliant.
Come
Yeah.
on.
and then also
Go.
consider the just on the flip side, the side of like oh shit, I forgot where it's going. Oh yeah, sorry, consider on the flip side like not just what they can do. I totally did forget where I was going and then thought I would recover. I did.
Age-old adage of enemies want to win.
Age-old adage of enemies want to win. Yeah, I mean,
Range.
And playing
range is I think really important.
Mhm.
We've got to be using more like right, sorry. One of the curses and blessings of most Powered by the Apocalypse games is that we don't do combat maps, right?
Yeah.
Things aren't, you don't have a move speed of 30 or something like that, right? So that means that you can just determine like the distances between things, right? M is doing this thing that is like, again, this is exactly what she should be doing. She's saying, I want to try to get into melee with all of them. And your response is okay. You said yes.
Yeah.
Right? But what you could have said is, no, the first one is like stopping you from getting there. And that means that this other one now has room to like run around. So M's rampage ability doesn't kill all of them. It takes out, it would only take out one of them. So M doesn't even want to use rampage and has to use something else. And this other one can run around and stab Moss in the back or whatever.
Yes.
Or Lady Anne. Right?
A lot of it is
Yeah.
playing the battlefield to your NPC's advantage.
Yeah.
And since we're doing theater of the mind, it can be like I can fully just like say like, no, that thing's too far away.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Cool.
Because
Yeah.
and you know, in some games there's speed, in some games there's time. This game has neither, right?
This game
It's fully narrative.
We have turns, but turns might be, but like it's not exactly clear how long a turn is. I mean, it's theoretically
1
speaking,
second.
it's 1 second or
10
6
minutes.
seconds or whatever. So like if you wanted, right? If you narratively wanted, you could say that like Vlad the Impaler is at the other end of this incredibly long hallway, and M has to roll a daring action every turn for the first 25 turns before she gets there. That would be boring as fuck, obviously.
Yeah.
But mechanically speaking, that's within your power, right?
That's what that is for.
Exactly. So you can start like forcing us to do, and like when you start when you do things like that, right? That will also force us to do different things in response. Because fundamentally, right now, because of the ease with which we can be in the position that we want to be in, it is mechanically advantageous for us to just do as much damage as we possibly can all the time.
Yep.
Right.
Which is
But,
what's
like,
happening pretty much, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But the second we're not in that position, then I'm in a then I'm suddenly looking at, I want to use my combat move knowledge, which I'm actually better at than battle anyway, and like use that to benefit M and to help M moving, or like M is trying to do something. I can set it so it's +1 harm, so that when M finally does get into melee with Vlad the Impaler, like she can do battle and do an extra harm, and Vlad the Impaler can fly away. Right?
I just forgot. So because my stuff counts as silver, he doesn't have armor against me.
Perfect. Right?
Not that he would
we
know
fought him.
that, because if we do fight him, any vampires, they wouldn't have armor against me. Marcus, you are muted again.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just asked Vlad. Wouldn't have armor. Vampires.
I'm assuming he would have armor.
Yeah,
because
I can check real quick.
But he wouldn't have. He probably has against silver. This is his armor.
Yeah.
Because that's my claws and weapons are considered silver because I'm a Moonchild wolf. Which if we spent more time on this character, I would actually be able to put some more effort and be like, this is why.
That's cool.
I'm actually considering playing this character in D&D game right now.
Oh, awesome.
In Faerun, in the Dalelands.
Fun. That sounds good. I'm down. And then the last thing I would say, Marcus, is when we make a move and we are choosing benefits from the list of things that we get, right? One really good way to exploit our situation is for you to look at that exact same list of things and say, okay, that means they don't get any of these other things, right? So,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
when I choose deal harm to my opponent as appropriate, and I, you know, on my attack, or M gets a 9, as if that would ever happen, and M gets one thing, right? And she chooses do harm on her attack to her opponent as appropriate on her attack, right? That means that she doesn't reduce the harm dealt to her, right?
Mhm.
That means that the opponent is not forced into the position that she wants, right? When M is grabbing these people and dragging them across the floor, right? She's
To be
saying,
fair, I spent 3 on that one to make sure they couldn't do shit.
right, so fair enough. Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing, but like still, like the things that we don't have are the things that we don't pick are the consequences for what we are doing, right? We should look at those
Yes.
lists as like both benefits and negatives. You're muted again.
Fuck,
do you
I keep
keep
doing
muting?
the because I have it on and keep thinking that I'm muted, and like, yeah, that helps immensely. Yeah, that's I think the biggest thing that I'm going to be taking forward
Yeah.
into the next sessions.
I will say, because of some of my abilities, I can do 2 of the choices on battle anyway.
Hmm.
Particularly the attack,
Oh, yeah.
you attack multiple foes at once.
Yeah.
I mean, group tag, because I get that from Rampage.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and there's like a whole, like, I will say that like a number of our level up abilities are meant to, like, in general, mitigate the problems of what we are facing.
Yeah.
Right. They're supposed to help. They're supposed to, like, oh, the DM's been screwing me on such and such an ability over and over and over again. I'm tired of that, so I'm taking Rampage so that I can always mitigate this. So I can always do
Yes.
that, right? So that's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just, yeah. Again, I cannot recommend looking at you know, the core of all this stuff is Apocalypse World, right? That's where it came from. And in Apocalypse World, the benefits that you are listed are very, very, very narrow and precise. And if you don't pick that, then bad stuff happens.
Yes.
And that's just like the way it goes. So
yeah, the lower rolls as well should be less advantageous. So if I only get 1 from the battle choice, obviously it's like deal harm. Okay, I'm still getting hurt. I'm still being possibly moved into a position they want just by doing that harm. So it could be like,
but we're gonna fail a lot
act of
less in this
desperation
game,
where I, you know, go in to stab them in the chest. I do that, but they also grab my arm and move me over to the edge a bit closer, stuff like that.
Yeah, we're also gonna
Yeah.
like the way the numbers work out in this game. We're gonna
Yeah.
fail a lot less than people do in Apocalypse World, partially because Apocalypse World is about scarcity, and this game is about heroic figures fighting off monsters. But also, partially, I think, because the GM moves are much less strict in this. The GM can sort of do what they want, whereas in Apocalypse World, like, if people aren't failing, it's a real problem for the game. So, you know, yeah.
Yeah, that helps a ton. Thank you all.
Oh yeah, of course, Marcus,
system.
and you're doing great. It's a lot of fun. I
Thanks.
just love good old fashioned gothic-y goodness.
Me too. I love vampires,
too.
werewolves. That's my
And
jam.
let's go hang out in the graveyard for a little bit. That sounds cool. Let's do it. You know,
Oh,
I'm
man.
down.
Fuck it, let's just go drink beer in the graveyard.
Oh my god, yeah, there are no graveyards in San Francisco. Legally.
Is that true?
Legally,
Not enough room.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We are hyper limited in space. So no graveyards in San Francisco. 7x7, no room to expand. Cool. Well, Marcus, thank you so much for running this awesome game. We're going to continue with this story next time. I'm excited already. You know, I don't know. I'm giddy. I'm enjoying myself.
I'm loving it.
Yeah. So as always, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the show. Please do your best to take care of yourself and others, and the people in your life count as others. You don't only have to help strangers. Sometimes you know people you know, and that's a good thing. As always, I'm going to encourage you to call your cat and feed your mom. And of course, with this show, I have to remind you, never be afraid of the question, which one do I roll? Bye, everyone.
Bye.